This is it. You're in the right place. Year 3 of the spring breakout comes to an end in Mesa, Arizona, as the A's welcome the Brewers to town as we say so long and farewell to the final weekend of spring training. It's been a great few days as we've seen the best prospects in baseball come together on a national stage. And once again, we are so happy to bring you inside of our booth here at Hohokam Stadium. Alongside MLB Pipeline's Jim Callis, I'm Greg Caserta. Another great matchup in store, Jimmy. We've seen the Brewers before. Now we get the A's and an individual matchup between two of the best prospects in baseball.
Yeah, I'm just sad this is coming to an end. I mean, it's flown by real quick. We have the only game in action today, Game 16 of Spring Breakout. 4 top 100 prospects. We get one of the best pitchers in last year's draft. Jamie Arnold of the A's is going to start the game. But the best prospect matchup in any of these games, the number 3 prospect in baseball in Jesus Madej of the Brewers versus number 4 prospect in baseball in Leo DeVries. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this, Greg.
Jesus Madej, you see it right there. Brewers number 1. We saw him the other day. 1 for 2, had an RBI, a run and a stolen base. And this play on defense, one of the best we saw.
Yeah, I mean, that was not an easy play to change direction, go home, made a nice throw and steadied himself. Also saw him draw walks, stole base. He did everything but hit a home run. So maybe Jesus will come through today and hit a home run for us. If not, maybe Luis Pena, who's another top 100 prospect, picks up the slack because he did hit a home run. But Jesus Madej, he could do it all at shortstop. But then so can Leo DeVries, who I think hit 4-something in camp this year. He's unbelievable. He came over in last year's Mason Miller trade. A lot of people in baseball, the reaction was, man, I can't believe the Padres trade this guy. And then everybody was like, it's A.J. Preller. He trades everybody. But Leo DeVries is super, super talented. Both these guys were 18 years old in Double-A last year. DeVries was, I think, 17 when he was in the Fall League a couple years ago. These guys are unbelievable. If you're splitting hairs, maybe Madej is a little bit better defensive shortstop. But these are both potential 30-30 shortstops, Greg.
A shortstop battle between Madej and DeVries. Coming up next, it's the last stop of spring breakout. Brewers and A's. Lineups and first pitch are coming up next. A center field look at Jamie Arnold working with Cole Kahn behind the plate. For those of you just joining us on MLB Network, good afternoon and welcome to Hohokam Stadium here in Mesa. It's the final spring breakout game of the year, and for the second time in 3 days we see the Brewers with their number 1 farm system in baseball. And the lineup that you see here today, we saw a lot of these guys in the win on Friday against the Mariners. Jesus Madej, their number 1 prospect, leading things off with Luis Pena, the number 2 prospect, batting second. Andrew Fisher has opened up a lot of eyes this spring. He's batting third. Blake Burke cleaning up. Josh Adamszewski back in the lineup playing left field, hitting 5th, and then Dickinson, Wood, Payne, and Ragsdale getting set to face Jamie Arnold. Jim, last year's 11th pick out of Florida State.
Yeah, the A's did not think he was going to be available at number 11 overall, so they were delighted. He was one of the best pitchers in college baseball the last 2 years at Florida State. When you see him, as we're about to, it's an unusual delivery, but it worked for him. And what I like about it is, yeah, there's deception. There's obvious deception, but he still throws strikes. Fastball slider combination, very tough.
And there's Madej scooping one into left center. Jesus Madej all over the first pitch. The spring breakout run continues. It's a leadoff double on the first pitch of the day.
That's why he's the number 3 prospect in baseball. He didn't waste any time there, facing one of the best lefties in the minors. Jumped on a fastball. I think that was only about 91 miles an hour. Hit that 113 miles an hour in the gap.
We saw the exact same thing last night between the Rockies and the Diamondbacks over at Salt River Fields. Roldy Brito jumped on the first pitch from Patrick Forbes and hit a double. And now we see ball 1 to Luis Pena, who hit that big 3-run homer in Friday's win. That gave the Brewers the lead for good. Ultimately ended up beating the Mariners 7-3.
He kind of woke up that Brewers offense. We saw Ryan Sloan, who's one of the best pitching prospects in baseball, throw 3 perfect innings. It just looked like Seattle was just going to roll, and then Pena kind of turned the game around with 1 swing. And we've talked about, we talked Brewers. It's Jesus Madej. He's number 3 prospect in baseball. Luis Pena is number 26 prospect in baseball, and he played right along with him all the way up to High A. Madej played better in High A, so he got promotion to Double A at the end of last year. But Pena, outstanding player as well, and had put up better numbers than Madej until they got to High A at age 18 last year.
What I love is when you see guys like that paired together, climbing through the system together in the hope that someday they're both in the majors, in the lineup at the same time. You talk about Madej and Pena for the Brewers, and then last night we saw the same thing atop the Rockies order with Roldy Brito and Wilder Dalis.
I really like both those guys. Those guys aren't as famous as Madej and Pena, but those could be top 100 prospects in the future. And
let's go back to Friday afternoon. Luis Pena got a slider on the first pitch, and he did not miss, squaring it up to right center, and he knew right off the bat.
And that was off Kate Anderson, the number 3 pick in last year's draft.
There's
so that
a
wasn't
base hit the other way. Pena slices one through, scores Madej, and the Brewers waste no time, jumping out to a 1-0 lead.
Well, that's 2 of the best prospects in baseball against one of the best pitching prospects in baseball and advantage hitters right now.
Just another great piece. Both of Pena's hits during this breakout have gone to right center. So a double and an RBI single. 1-0 Brew Crew right out of the gate. And here's Andrew Fisher.
Laid back on that slider there. And this lineup's going to look a lot different if fans watch the game on Friday, because the Brewers are the only team in Arizona playing 2 of these games because there's an odd number team. Somebody has to play twice. And so the Brewers wanted to give other guys an opportunity to play. So I think we have maybe 3 players who are in the starting lineup from the other day. But the good news is the Brewers have the #1 farm system in baseball, Greg. So plenty of prospects. We're not having any slippage in quality here. We're still seeing a lot of top prospects. Andrew Fisher, who couldn't even start the other day because they had 4 top 100 shortstops in the lineup moving around. Andrew Fisher's the best third base prospect in baseball.
So Andrew Fisher wanted to challenge that last strike call, but according to the home plate umpire Ty Krause, was a little too late on the trigger. We saw Fisher come on late, and a runner on the move here. That one gets through the legs of the catcher Khan, and it's a stolen base for Luis Pena. So the Brewers hitting and running have a man at second with nobody out.
Yeah, we saw the Brewers being very aggressive on the base pass in the last game too, and that's what you like to see in these showcase games, is players getting the opportunity to display what they can do. And I think you'll see that probably from both teams. The guys who have speed will turn it loose today.
Fisher flies one into left. Geddes near the corner, looking up, fighting the sun, reaches out and makes a nice catch. And a great tag from Luis Pena to watch that play all the way through, develop in front of him, and then tag to third, getting there with 1 out.
That ball carried pretty well too. I thought he got under it, and I just thought that was going to be kind of a routine fly ball to left, and they kept carrying. And you're right. I mean, and you like to see that. I mean, this is a showcase game. This doesn't really matter that much. You know, they're not. This isn't going to count towards the standings. But no, I mean, it's first inning. Pena's looking to take an extra base and come home and score a run now. They can put the ball in play.
Big swing on the first one to Blake Burke, who did not play on Friday against the Mariners. So when we last saw Andrew Fisher, he hit that ground rule double in the 8th inning in his lone plate appearance, and then I believe made some noise against Mason Miller the following day. Ball and a strike on the big first baseman, Brewers number 18 prospect Blake Burke.
Yeah, I mean, the Brewers, as I mentioned, best farm system in baseball. A lot of talent. A lot of these guys you're going to see in the big leagues sooner rather than later. You know, Blake Burke, there wasn't room for him on the roster on Friday, but this guy was one of the best college power hitters when he was at Tennessee, part of their national championship team. You know, probably limited to first base, but it's big time power. You know, it's interesting. He and Fisher didn't overlap because Fisher transferred in from Ole Miss to Tennessee and actually replaced him as Tennessee's first baseman.
That time a little finesse. Burke past the drawn in infield. Third hit, first 4 hitters for the Brewers, and Pena scores to make it 2-zip. They're just so fun to watch. And again, we've seen these guys more than the others, but the Brewers just, like their big league manager, Pat Murphy, pushes for the big league guys. They do all the little things well. Situational hitting, taking the extra base. And a 1-0 lead becomes 2-0 on the Burke Ribby single.
Arnold's velocity down a couple miles an hour from what I remember seeing him last year at Florida State. He usually sat around 94. He's been 92 today, and the Brewers have been jumping on him.
Another lefty, third in a row. Josh Adamszewski going after the first pitch, strike 1. Adamszewski, the Brewers number 11 prospect, 1 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts on Friday. Takes down low, 1-1. So Jamie Arnold, like you said, was projected by many to go in the top 10 picks of last year's draft, but fell to the A's at number 11.
Yeah, I think what happened is with the college pitchers, when Tyler Bremner went number 2 to the Angels, which wasn't Tyler Bremner very talented, but that wasn't necessarily expected. It pushed everybody down a notch. So Kate Anderson went to 3, Liam Doyle went to 5. Then you had a slew of high school shortstops, and the A's looked up and they're like, yeah, we'll take Jamie Arnold at number 11.
Really opened eyes as a sophomore in 2024 did Arnold. Now the big fella's on the move. Strike 3 called. Throw down his second, not in time. So Blake Burke, the cleanup hitter, gets a stolen base after Adam Shefsky stares at strike 3 for out number 2.
Yeah, and Blake Burke not probably like I'd say, I don't want to say well below average speed, but maybe below average speed. We'll be kind. But he just, I mean, that's a great base run. You were talking about Murph. He saw that Jamie Arnold wasn't really paying attention to him, even though he's looking at him, and just got a huge jump.
When you watch him go, he got a great jump and then very strong strides into second. So 2 stolen bases in the inning on top of 2 runs. The ribby singles from Pena and Burke, opening the scoring early. Daniel Dickinson, the batter, just inside the top 30 for Brewers prospects. Wrapping up their list and ahead in the count, 2-0.
Another SEC product the Brewers got out of LSU. He was a national champion as well, won that title there at LSU. Last year, he's a kind of a hit over power guy, can run a little bit.
Look at this, Burke again, throw down to third. This time he's in again. The throw beat him there, but a better slide, and Blake Burke probably making his teammates happy in that third base dugout. A ribby single, and then he steals 2.
Kind of crazy situation here to like 2 outs, hitters ahead in the count 2-0, and you're stealing third. But I guess if you're going to go, you better make it. And again, that's base running savvy. This is not, we're going to get to the bottom of the order. Braylon Payne, that guy can fly. This isn't Braylon Payne. This is, you know, Blake Burke, who he makes his living hitting balls over the fence. But again, like you set him up perfectly. You were talking about how the Brewers do all the little things, and if you aren't going to pay attention, he's going to steal a base.
Here's a smack out to left center field. This ball carrying back. Bolte reaches up and makes a wonderful catch. He takes extra bases and an RBI away from Dickinson. What could have been a 3-run top of the first holds right there. Henry Bolte with a spectacular play, but not after the Brewers strike for 2 runs on 3 hits. Couple of ribby singles for Pena and Burke. And now the A's come up for the first time right after this. MLB Pipeline ranked the A's as having the number 18 farm system of the 30 teams coming into 2026. Henry Bolte gets things started after making a wonderful catch out in deep left center to end the top of the first. And he stares at ball 1 from Tyson Harden. So top of the order, Bolte, Leo DeVries, and Tommy White. Junior Perez, the right fielder, in the cleanup spot today. That's hammered off the plate foul. 1-1 on Bolte, the A's number 5 prospect. And our first look at Brewers right-hander Tyson Harden.
Yeah, Harden was a 12th round pick out of Mississippi State in 2024. We talked on the first broadcast, I'm sure we'll circle back to it today, about what Brewers do an excellent job in rounds 11 through 20. He was a reliever at Mississippi State. They converted to a start. You can see a very nice season last year. He basically works 92, 95 miles an hour with a 4-seam fastball, and his best pitch is a low 80s slider that sweeps across the strike zone. He'll mix in a cutter and changeup, but it's mainly fastball slider from Harden.
Working with Matt Wood behind the plate. This one sawed off behind second. Dickinson, the backhand and the quick throw. Great stretch from Blake Burke. Boy, he's an athlete over at first. Good extension to haul it in for out number 1.
Yeah, and Henry Bolte is a tooled-up dude. I mean, it's well above average speed. It's plus raw power. And you could see, I mean, that wasn't the hardest hit ground ball, but Dickinson knew he had to get rid of that in a hurry, and Bolte busted it down the line and just missed beating that out for a base hit.
It's a good thing you have a big boy over at first and Blake Burke using every bit of his size to reach out and pull it in. 1 away for Leo DeVries, the centerpiece of last year's Mason Miller trade from the Padres. And MLB's number 4 overall prospect stares at a hard one for strike 1.
And just looking at the data, they clocked Bolte 4.33 seconds to first base. That's 95th percentile for right-hand hitter getting down the line in the major leagues. So he can really, really fly.
Those are the numbers last year for DeVries, who doesn't turn 20 until after the season.
And here's the thing with him and Madej. Okay, those guys both played in Double-A last year at 18. I feel like they're going to get to the majors at some point this year. Like they're going to give them some time. Neither guy's played in Triple-A. Both those guys looked very comfortable in big league camp.
I think Madej more so, only because DeVries faces a bit of a logjam on that A's infield.
Well, right? so does Madej. I mean, the Brewers have guys. I mean, I always think, like, when you're talking about like the elite level prospects, the great prospects, it doesn't matter who's in front of them. It doesn't matter what you think the ETA is. They're going to tell you when they're ready. And I just think both these guys, yeah, it's like when I see prospects, you're like, hey, see you at the Futures game. Like, these guys might not be even eligible for the Futures game because they might be in the big leagues by that point.
Showing a good eye here, working the count to 3-2. Tyson Harden working fast with Matt Wood behind the plate. Left side of the infield pulled off the line. Fisher at third, Madej at short. And the payoff rolled to second. Easier play this time for Dickinson. 2 down. So Tyson Harden comes in with probably not as much fanfare as some of the other starters that we've seen at the spring breakout. But Brewers number 19 prospect led all their minor leaguers last year in walk rate and strikeout to walk rate.
And this was while he was converting from being a reliever at Mississippi State, where he couldn't crack the rotation, to being a starter in his first full season pro ball. So, again, Brewers do a great job of scouting and player development. And I mean, he faced Tommy White in college. He was at Mississippi State. Tommy Tanks, part of LSU's 2023 national championship team, and really one of the best home run hitters in college baseball history. 75 homers in 3 seasons. And so it was kind of, it's funny. I always thought the power obviously grabs your eye. But I always thought he was an underrated hitter. The people focused on the power, and he's underrated. And he hit real well in his first full season pro ball, but only 12 homers, which kind of surprised me. Didn't really go off crazy in the fall league. He was fine there, but this spring he's back to driving the ball, kind of like, you know, you get the nickname Tommy Tanks for a reason. He's hitting more tanks, and I think he's going to have a big year in the minors this year. He might be a guy who moves quickly too.
You like the average at 275, year 1 in the system. That's on the outer half for a strike, and
the strikeout rate was only about 14%. That's the thing. He's not gripping it and ripping it and chasing and, you know, taking, you know, swinging from the heels every time. He just has a lot of natural power.
Harden throws the slider. This one popped to center, right at Payne, and it closes out a 1-2-3 bottom of the first for Tyson Harden. 16 pitches to retire the side. Brewers up 2-0 as we go to the second. 98 degrees in Mesa as the second inning starts. Brewers with 2 in the first off Jamie Arnold, whose fastball we noticed was a little down, around 91-92. Faced 6 batters, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, and got some help from his defense with Henry Bolte reaching out and making a great catch in center field to take extra bases and an RBI away from Daniel Dickinson. So the bottom third of the order comes up, and it's the catcher Matt Wood staring at ball 1.
It seemed like in that first inning they were looking to do damage early in the count. I don't know if they were trying to avoid getting behind the count, and then you have to, you know, really worry about that slider from Jamie Arnold. That's his best pitch.
I mean, just do the math, right? 6 batters, 24 pitches, no more than 4 pitches per AB. So really never let Arnold get too comfortable. Wood followed by Payne and Ragsdale.
He's got 3 lefties this inning. He's not a fun at bat for a left-hander because you watch this motion. I mean, he has a wide angle and he gets down the mound really well. So he's got good extension and he's just releasing the ball from a point where a lot of guys don't release the ball. And like I was leading to at the beginning of the broadcast, like you see sometimes guys who have these like unorthodox deliveries, and yeah, it's deceptive, but they can't throw strikes. He throws a lot of strikes. That's what makes him special, is it's the delivery, the stuff, and there's still strikes. Makes him very difficult to hit.
You just saw that last sinker bearing in on the lefty Wood. And he stares at one a bit outside to fill up the count. Matt Wood, unrated in terms of prospect status, 25-year-old, was a 4th-round pick out of Penn State in 2022. And he stares at another one. So there's the at-bat that gets drawn out, and Wood with a leadoff walk. Second straight inning, the Brewers get the leadoff man aboard. Get a look at the Brewers' top 8 prospects, 5 of them inside the top 100, with 2 of them coming over from the Mets in the Freddie Peralta trade, and Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat.
Yeah, I mean, we saw 6 of those guys in the first spring breakout game. And the thing is, you know, you got all the top 100 prospects, and obviously Madej and Pena and those guys, you know, draw your eye. But Bishop Bledson looked good when we saw him pitch.
Yes, he did.
Marco Dinges, who's not in this game but was in that game, is interesting. And you just go down: Adam Chesky, Lara, Luke Adams, Braylon Payne, Brady Ebel. I mean, Brady Ebel was a supplemental first-round pick last year, Greg. He's number 15 on the list. That's how deep it is. You know, Blake Burke's 18. Blake Burke's got nice power. Tyson Harden, sorry, looks really nice for a guy who's number 19 on the top 30 list.
Braylon Payne looks really nice. Smacks that one through the middle, and just like the first inning, the first 2 reach, it's first and second with nobody out after the 4th Brewers hit.
And you have Madej and Pena lurking in the hole. You know, we got Josiah Ragsdale here, who I think we saw walk in the first game, but look at here. You know, they're taking nice controlled swings. You know, Braylon Payne's a speedster. He's not going to swing for the fences, but he just stayed with that. I think it was a slider. It looked like a slider to me, and just stayed on it and
Look out.
got up the middle.
What's encouraging about that swing that produced the base hit is that the first pitch he offered at was a wild, vicious cut. So you see the adjustment, and then another look at one that got away from Arnold. Josiah Ragsdale, who drew a walk in his lone plate appearance Friday against the Mariners. Ground ball back to Arnold. He sets, throws low, out there, back to first, not in time. Would have been tough with Ragsdale's speed, but at least Arnold gets the force for out number 1.
Yeah, it's like he threw a sinker. Yeah, I don't know if he didn't quite get the grip on that, but that was actually a nice play by DeVries to come up with that throw while he's coming across the bag.
Like
that could have been disastrous. Yeah.
Just didn't get a lot on it, and a good adjustment by DeVries to at least tiptoe second base and force out Payne. That's runners at the corners, and already in the second, Madej up a second time.
We focus on how good Madej and DeVries are offensively, but we saw it in the first game. We showed it in the open. Madej was playing second base. These guys make plays defensively too. They're not just 30-30 and, you know, range to one step either side. They can make some plays defensively too, and they can steal bases if you give them the opportunity. Again,
I think the play that stood out to me from Madej on Friday was when he threw out the runner at the plate. We showed that in the open. Runner goes from first, no surprise there. Dropped by the catcher, Kahn, and here comes Wood with the 3rd Brewers run. Kahn trying to pop up and get off a throw before he had it. And Arnold's tough start continues. It's now 3-0, still only 1 man out.
So, and what you're, going back to what you were saying the first inning, if Pat Murphy's watching this game, he's probably enjoying it. Just seeing these guys do the little things.
I don't know, is the big league club playing right now?
Yeah, but I think the team is flying to Milwaukee because they have exhibition games in front of opening day. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where Pat is.
Nice play by Junior Perez to run it down, and then get it back in quickly to keep Ragsdale at second.
It's a nice throw.
Really good throw.
Back to the Brewers, designated hitter number 43, Luis Pena.
Did they ever score?
Pass ball.
It was a pass ball. Okay, good. Not good. I just want to make sure that we got it in. Now it's Pena who had the RBI single the other way his first time up. Ragsdale dancing at second, and a slow roller that hits off Pena on the way out. And that's something I think Jesse and I talked about last night when we had the Rockies and the Diamondbacks, is that this is year 3 of spring breakout. And you could tell by the buzz that it's generated on social media that people are paying attention. Year 1, I think it was so new and people didn't really understand it, but now Brewers clips are flying all over the place. And you see the response from Brewers fans. They are so excited about this farm system. As you see Pena go after a high one, quickly behind 0-2.
No, I think there's more understanding and interest in it. Also just from the players. Like, the players want to play in spring breakout. They know these games are being televised. You're playing in a big league stadium.
Runner goes, throw down, not in time. Another stolen base. That's 4. And they actually called out Pena at the plate.
Oh.
So we'll get another look right here, because you see right there, the runner's safe. So no stolen base, but another run in for the Brewers. They've got 3 quick ones on the board here in Mesa. I hope that ladies watching our game on the MLB app. MLB Plus, new this year in 2026. Greg Caserta, Jim Callis, the rest of our crew. So happy to be with you for the final day of spring breakout and the final weekend of spring training. Opening day Wednesday night on Netflix. Giants and Yankees, and big swing from Junior Perez. That's the second inning started after Tyson Hardin threw 16 pitches to retire the side in the first.
He's a super interesting guy. Originally a Padre, he went to the A's in 2020.
Ball by Perez and a leadoff single in the second.
Yeah, he took that one up the middle, and that's actually, I was going to say, he's loaded with tools. He came over in the Jorge Mateo trade in 2020. He's got power, he's got speed. We saw the arm, he can play center field. He's not real consistent at the plate. That's what's holding him back here.
But he is on the 40-man.
He is on the 40-man, top that one. Last year, 26 homers, 27 steals, 165 strikeouts in AAA. Another guy, I'm going to guess we're going to see him try to steal here in the pitch or two.
Grayson Geddes, the hitter, fouls it off at the plate. And Geddes, a guy that we've thrown this term around, a fast riser. A's number 23 prospect, was only signed last year. Turns 19 in September and hit .359 over 53 games in the Dominican Summer League as a rookie last year.
Yeah, he's yet to make his U.S. official pro debut. He'll do that in the Arizona Complex League in May. But he's already hit a 450-foot home run off of a big leaguer. This wasn't, he's in a big league game, hey, he's getting a double-A guy in the ninth. He hit a 450-foot bomb off of Michael King. And he's just opened so many eyes. The A's are really pleased with his development. You don't see too many guys go from the DSL to getting at-bats in big league spring training. And the A's keep giving him at-bats because he keeps producing. Like, the big league staff loves this guy.
Hardin falling behind, a rarity at this point. 3-1 on the lefty Geddes. What you look for with these young guys, and I've taken more appreciation and noticed it more these last couple of days, is the way they approach their at-bats. Whether they're selling out or not, chasing pitches out of the zone. Hardin with a toss back to first, but Perez not straying too far.
You know, especially for an 18-year-old who's coming over from the DSL, who, I mean, look, he's been on TV before because he's been in a couple big league games, but I mean, this is one of the biggest stages he's been on, and he's sitting here, you know, taking a patient at bat until he chased a slider there. You guys, changeup actually there. Sorry.
Well, the changeup clocked at 94. Imagine that's a fastball that had some odd movement on it. And now I'd imagine you see Perez, who's been dancing over at first, at least kind of pivot towards second. With Burke anchoring in front of first base. A throw back and a snap tag, but not in time.
Tyson Hardin thinking along the same lines as you.
Tyson Hardin, because of his performance last season, a postseason All-Star in the Midwest League. He's looked very strong today. Runner does go, and it's grounded off the leg of Geddes. We'll do it again at 3-2. Since we talked about the Brewers on Friday, let's look at the A's, who did take a step forward. And a step right there that might hurt for a couple of days right there for Geddes. 76 wins a year ago, after averaging only 59 the previous 3 seasons. And again, we talked about it leading into this one. 3-2, runner goes, doesn't matter. That's ball 4 up high. And it kicks away, rolls into shallow left, and that's good attention by Perez to follow it and run all the way to third. So you get the walk and then a throwing error from the catcher Wood. And now the A's have life with runners at the corners and nobody out.
Don't see that play too often. Yeah, it looks like the ball hit the bag and just kind of popped into no man's land there. Perez popped up, goes to third easily. Yeah, I was going to say, when you're talking about the A's making their step forward, it seems like they have a lot of the offensive pieces in place, and pitching's going to be the key. But they do have pitching coming. We're seeing Jamie Arnold today, and this is not necessarily Jamie Arnold as sharpest. Drive to right.
Kuroda, Grauer deep to right. This one's tailing back, and this one's off the top of the wall. Ragsdale plays it in perfectly. The throw to second not in time, but it's a ribby double for Joshua Kuroda Grauer. And the A's number 10 prospect makes it a 3-1 game.
And he's really a power over hit guy. We talked about how the ball is carrying, and you know, he got that ball up and it just kept going and going and going. Hit that ball 99 miles an hour, and I guess we'll see the replay in a second. He cannot have missed a home run by that much.
Jimmy, bottom line is, you get it in the air today, you've got a chance. Because that's another one that just kept tailing and carrying. And Josiah Ragsdale, who's very strong in the outfield, played this thing perfectly off the top of the wall. Not only held Geddes going first to third, but now Shotaro Mori, who's listed as a two-way guy on this spring breakout roster, can tie it with a base hit.
Yeah, I mean, he hit that ball so hard, there was really no chance to score the runner from first base on that play. He did not miss a home run. I mean, they hit off the, there's like a yellow stripe along the outfield wall here, and it hit it up at the very top of the yellow stripe.
It's kind of an odd right field here at Hohokam. It's 350 to the corner. And then where the bullpens are located, the wall kind of pushes forward towards the infield. Doubles up on it, strike two on Mori.
I'm not sure that we'll get to see Mori pitch today, but it is cool. You know, you don't see shortstop right-handed pitcher too often. The Rangers have a couple of those guys. But instead of entering the Japanese draft, he came over here during the 2025 international signing period, signed for a little over $1.5 million. And you can argue, is he a better prospect as a shortstop? You can argue it both ways. I mean, he can do a little bit of everything as shortstop, you know, average tools across the board with a strong arm. And, you know, again, that strong arm is low 90s fastball, and he's got multiple pitches. There's some field to pitch.
Chopper off of Harden, caroms to the right side of the infield, and it's an RBI infield single for Mori as Geddes comes across to make it 3-2. And had Tyson Harden gloved it, he had a really good shot to start an inning-ending double play.
Designated hitter, number 40, Edgar Montero.
I'll give the A's credit after going down quickly in the first. All four have reached in the second. Still nobody out. And it's first and third for Edgar Montero, the switch-hitting DH. And the A's number 11 prospect with a chance to tie the game right away. But his AB started with a pitch clock violation, so that right there is strike two. Edgar Montero will be 19 all year, signed as a free agent 2 years ago. And he stares at strike three on the outer half. Tyson Harden needed that one, a big first out in the second.
Especially with the runner on third to keep the ball out of play. Now if he can get the double play out of Cole Khan, he's out of the inning.
That's right there. And Montero knew it, never really had a chance. So a quick three-pitch strikeout. First of the day for Harden. Brings up the switch-hitting catcher Cole Khan. Looking for that outer half again, ball one. So again, with the A's, it'll continue to be one of the most fun lineups in baseball to watch on a nightly basis. And they've wrapped up their core. Good slider to even things up. Extensions for both Jacob Wilson and Tyler Soderstrom this offseason. Soderstrom actually getting the largest in team history. Max out at $131 million. Now, Shea Langelier's name has come up in extension talks. There were whispers about that with Nick Kurtz, but after his Rookie of the Year season, just don't see it happening because of what he will command on the open market.
Yeah, and you know, Nick Kurtz was the number 4 overall pick in the draft too, so he already got a significant chunk of change, so he can wait and let it play out a little bit too. I was going to say, as deep and as interesting as that lineup is, Nick Kurtz alone makes that a fun lineup to watch.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that guy is unbelievable.
I mean, we saw Jacob Wilson in the Desert Invitational playing for Grand Canyon University a few years ago. Now he's an all-star. Big swing by Khan. And the count fills up, so a crucial AB with Harden facing the number 9 hitter for the A's. Kuroda Grauer, the tying run at third. Mori, the go-ahead run at first. And now the payoff. That's ball 4, and they're loaded up.
That brings up Henry Bolte, who's another one of these interesting guys. Needs to be a little more consistent at the plate because he does have strikeouts are part of his game. But man, it's at least plus raw power. It's well above average speed. We saw him get down the line really quick. We're going to have a mound visit here. But if you make a mistake to Henry Bolte, he could make this a 6-3 game with one swing.
Brewers getting a left-hander up in their bullpen out beyond the right field wall. Pitching coach Patrick McGuff is out for a visit with the infield. 3 hits, a walk, Actually 2 walks now and a strikeout. Keeping them loaded with nobody out for Bolte. He did ground out to second when he led off the bottom of the first. So this time last year, the A's got the ball rolling by giving extensions to Brent Rooker and Lawrence Butler. They did trade for Jeff McNeil, which will certainly help some things in the order. And on the pitching front, they gave 1-year deals to Savali, Mark Leiter Jr., and Scott Barlow. But can they get a starter to have an ERA under 4? Playing in Sacramento, that's not going to be easy. A tapper off the plate, rolling to the left side. Barehanded throw, not in time. That was a heck of an effort from Andrew Fisher. Burke stretching out behind the bag. And an infield single from Henry Bolte ties the score at 3.
Well, we were talking about how quick he is because he almost beat out an infield single in the first inning. And that's just a very tough play to make with his speed. And Fisher, who did not play a lot of third base in Tennessee, almost made it on one of the fastest runners you're going to see in spring breakout.
That is the 4th hit of the inning for the A's. Both teams now with 3 runs on 4 hits. And they're loaded for DeVries, looking for a moment. Instead, a soft pop-up into right. Ragsdale coming in, makes the catch, and the runners stay right where they are.
I want to get back to Bolte for a second. So that first at-bat, I told you he got to home first from the right side in 4.33 seconds, which is like 95th percentile.
Tell me he was faster this time.
Oh, he was faster. He was 4.26 seconds this time. So I don't know. Like keep it. We'll go sub 4.2 the next time up. But I mean, that was a great play by Fisher again, who's not played a lot of third base. If you have a guy who has just plus speed rather than well above average speed, he gets him.
You know what I want right now? I want a tank from Tommy Tanks.
Tyson Harden does not agree with you. He does not want to see that.
I just want to make good television. That's what I care about.
Because
I really like Tyson Harden. I think he had a great first inning. I think he's been a little unlucky here in the second. And there's Tommy going after it to even the count 1-1.
He's trying to help you.
White did end the first by flying out to center. You've got Morey at third, Kahn at second, Bolte after the game-tying infield single at first. And White, the 9th batter of this second inning. Got one good right there. But fouls it back at 95. So the Brewers raced out to a 3-0 lead, but the A's come back with 3 in the home second. And now the 1-2 from Harden. Protected foul. Talked to some people from the Brewers staff getting ready to return to American Family Field for a couple of exhibitions this week against the Reds. Always found that odd.
Me too.
When you would open up the big league ballpark for a couple of dress rehearsals before opening day. Here comes Harden with another 1-2. Ground ball into the shortstop hole. Sliding is the third baseman Fisher, but Madej backing him up. Able to make a strong throw and get the out. That got very dicey. And after all that, the A's send 9 to the plate and tie it up with 3 in the second. A's tie the Brewers with 3 runs in the bottom of the second. We welcome you back to Hohokam Stadium here in Mesa, Arizona on the final day of spring breakout. So the tie score is 3-3 as we go to the third, and we have a special guest. Once again, Jim Callis gets all the VIPs. It's Ed Sprague, A's Director of Player Development. And before I get into your playing career, because I remember watching you, I was always a big fan. We do appreciate you spending a few minutes with us. I know it's been a very busy time of year for you.
No, absolutely. This is a fun game. You know, they started 3 years ago. We got rained out the first year, and it's fun to see all of our top guys on one field.
So let's get into Jamie Arnold, one of your top pitching prospects, highly touted coming out of Florida State. Maybe a little rocky in the first, but what have you seen out of him so far in spring?
Yeah, he's been great all spring. I mean, this is really his pro debut. You know, he didn't really pitch at all last year after we drafted him, and you know, he came into big league camp, threw some innings. I think he impressed everybody. He's just a little off. I mean, he gets that way. It's this time of year, especially maybe your 3rd or 4th outing. Guys get a little rusty, but you'd rather get it out here than during the season.
Sure.
And he's really, one of 3 lefties who are super interesting in the system. I mean, everybody, we were talking earlier, a lot of the offensive pieces coming together with the A's right now, trying to build up the pitching between Jamie Arnold, Gage Jump, Wayne Lynn. I mean, you got 3 lefties who could get to Sacramento pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Lynn, jumped on the scene last year for us in his his pro debut, and he's young and throws strikes. We think he's going to throw harder in the future. He's commanded, moved up through and finished in Double-A after starting in Low-A, and of course Gage come out at LSU and pitched well, and is he's commanded the baseball. He's got a different look than most guys have, and he's had a lot of success.
Ed, based on your experience with your career playing out the way that it did, you've seen a lot. So when you look at what the A's did, locking up your core position guys, do you think there's a part of that that extends down to the minor league system in terms of continuity?
No, for sure. I mean, I think we've had a lot of continuity in our organization for a long time, and I think, finally the ability to lock up some of these young stars, what we think is going to be stars, I think it's something we've been wanting to do for a while, and the fan base wanted it. And now we're in a situation where we have some really good players and starting to lock them up.
Awesome.
Speaking of really good young players, talk about top prospect in farm system. Leo DeVries does not look like a 19-year-old. I mean, just watching him big league camp, hit what, 410 or whatever it was, 2-homer game. You guys have only had him less than a year still at this point because you got him at the trade deadline last year. But man, I mean, how many young players have you seen that can do all the things that he can do?
Yeah, and not be fazed by the stage, really. I mean, that's what I've been most impressed with him is, every level he's been to, I mean, it's just the lights aren't too bright for him. And I think you forget that he's 19 and there's still a lot of room in that body to grow and get stronger. The natural talent's there and just the instincts for the game. And it's exciting to see someone so young and so talented.
Blake Burke is aboard after a 1-out single, his second of the day for the Brewers. We're with Ed Sprague, the A's Director of Player Development. So can you take me back to deadline day last year when you guys made that trade? And now look at the big fella again on the move. Blake Burke, who had 2 stolen bases in the first, now gets to second on a wild pitch. What was the feeling when everything was coming down the line and you were getting to that 25th hour when the trade was finally agreed to and Mason was on his way to San Diego? What was the overall feeling in the room?
Well, I think everybody was excited. I mean, and sad, everybody loved Mason. He came on the scene and was, one of the best guys, one of our best pitchers. And I think it just came down to, the fact that San Diego gave us an offer that David couldn't refuse, and I don't think Mason was in play at any really given point until the very, very end and when it happened. So, we certainly wish him the best, and he's obviously had great success, and, we get one of the best, young players in the game.
Did you guys think that it would happen the way that it did? I mean, were those conversations ongoing, or was it something that really came together last minute?
No, I think there's, I think when it gets to something like that, I think it's a pretty small circle of people who are involved in that. And so I don't think anybody on our side really knew what was happening until the very end.
Now, how does your season begin once camp breaks? Where do you go from here?
Well, I mean, I'm fortunate I live halfway between our low-A team in Stockton and Sacramento, so
you've mapped it out
perfectly. I'll get to work right away, yeah. So I'll probably see the big league team when they get home after their first road trip, and then the Vegas team comes into Sacramento for their first road trip of the year. So between the first couple of weeks, I'll be able to see the Stockton club and the Las Vegas club, and then I'll wait to get to Lansing until about mid-May. It starts to warm up a little bit.
I was going to say, you got to take your time getting out to the Midwest League. You don't want to do that right out of the gate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's see here. Are the A's going to their bullpen? Yes, they are. So we're going to keep Ed Sprague here for the end of the inning. We got a pitching change for the A's. We'll tell you who's coming in from the bullpen right after this. My joke during commercial break is that when you have the Director of Player Development up in the booth, he can tell who's coming in from the bullpen right away. So Ed Sprague pointed out Eduardo Nunez, the only guy on this A's spring breakout roster with big league experience and another focal point of that Mason Miller trade.
Yeah, another live arm that we got from the Padres, made his debut. I don't know if he's made his debut last year, but obviously he had some time in the big leagues last year with us.
And the final line for Jamie Arnold right now, 2 1/3, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. They gave him 55 pitches today, 30 strikes.
This isn't exactly fun for Dickinson's here with a guy who could throw 101 miles an hour and drop an upper 80s slider on you. So I think he's like, bring the lefty back in.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
having the platoon advantage. And I was going to, we've talked about some of the more famous players in the system. You and I talked the other day about Brayson Geddes, who sounds pretty interesting. I mean, a guy who's 18 years old, signed last year.
Runners on the move. We've seen this all day, and it's another stolen base for big country Blake Burke. He stole second and third in the first. He got to second on a wild pitch in this inning, and he's just reading these pitchers perfectly. Watch him from second. Bang. Gets off the blocks. That's 3 stolen bases for the cleanup hitter.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot more of that these days with these base stealers timing these guys coming off the, on the mound.
So is that something that you guys have to focus on with your pitchers, where you're really now pushing that more than maybe you did in the past or had to do in the past?
I mean, we always want our guys to hold runners and, be 1-3-5 or less. And, but, just the timing and it's the disengagement rule has changed. It does. Sometimes you time the pitch clock a little bit. So there's a lot of different ways to kind of go about it. But getting that extra half a shuffle, gets you that much closer to the bag. And there's been a lot of success with that move.
He's bringing the infield in, so we'll see if some infield defense shows up for Ed Sprague while he's in the booth.
So I was just trying to ask you before the runners took off about Brayson Geddes, who has not made his U.S. debut officially yet, but he's got a 450-foot homer off a big leaguer in spring training. Tell us about him. I mean, he sounds pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, I got eyes on him last year in the DR when we went down there. He has that sense when you see, you talk about hitterish. He looks hitterish, and he looks like he sees the baseball well. He stays on it with his front side. He uses the other field very well, for a young hitter. A lot of times that's a skill that we're usually teaching, but he seems to have it.
Up one gets by the catcher, and the wild pitch brings home Burke, and the Brewers retake the lead at 4-3.
He performed very well in the DR for us. I think he had 359 down there. And had some success. So, he's going to start in Stockton this year, which is a little bit of a push for an 18-year-old. But we just think that his bat-to-ball skills will be good enough. And he's not a super fast guy in the outfield, but he gets really good jumps and can throw accurately.
I know it's stressful right now, even though it's an exhibition. You want to see your guys perform at their best. So this inning has not gone the way you ideally want it, but for you in your role, are you just loving your gig, because it seems like such a great spot for you given your background and your experience both as a player and even in retiring?
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. We got a great team to work with, and get to be involved in a lot of aspects of not only just player development, but because of the continuity of our organization, from the front office to the scouting department, all the way down. You get to hear a lot of voices, hear a lot of opinions, and be involved. And we have, at the end of the day, we have really, really good people.
And as an outsider looking in, working at MLB Network, you cover all 30 teams, but I get the sense, seeing the list of names, that the A's treat their alumni very well by bringing guys back into the fold. You don't see that with every organization.
Yeah, it's been nice. Obviously Dave Stewart reached out last year, and we got him here, and he'll travel through the system. Mark McGuire is doing the same thing for us. So it's a lot of fun to have these guys around, and the players, they love it, and these guys work too. They're not just figureheads. I mean, Mac's in the cage with the guys every morning. He's been doing it. He's in there at 7:30. Stu watches every side and gives his opinion, to our pitchers. So they're hands-on. They're not just just alumni faces.
Back-to-back walks for Eduardo Nunez, a little wild out of the gate, and they're reloaded for Braylon Payne, who had a single his first time up. What's it going to take to get you back in uniform? I know it's hot down there today.
Well,
but
I mean,
what's it gonna
I
take?
am in uniform during spring training, and I'll go out, and I spend about half the time when I'm on the road in the dugout or in the stands. So I still get my little bit of uniform in there.
Do you have to, I guess early on, not so much now because you've been in this role, but when you coached in college the way you did and then you transition into a new role, do you have to kind of tweak the way you approach things and talk to guys?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that some of it's generational, and some of it's you're learning how to handle, a number of different players at different age groups, different cultures. So I think that's probably the number one thing. But the difference between pro ball and college ball is this is really about all about the players here. And in college sometimes you're worried about winning and stuff like that. But for here it's all about trying to get these players developed, for the major leagues and be winning major league players. I mean, that's our number one job, and we talk to our staff about it. We talk to our players about it, because when you get to the big leagues, it's all about winning. you know, and you got to be prepared when you get there. And there's so many little things that help finish you off along the way. It's not just raw skills. You know, in Jamie Arnold's case, you know, holding runners would be a good one.
Sure.
He certainly learned the hard way in this game. But those are the little things that are, you know, going to get you there. A lot of guys get to the big leagues. It's hard to stay there. And right now we're in an upward tick of a championship cycle. So the opportunities are going to become less and less. There'll still be opportunities, but our players, and Mark Kotze will tell you that, they need to be ready to rock and roll when they get there because the expectation is winning.
There's your top prospect, Leo DeVries, showing off the rifle and getting them out of the jam. Could have been a whole lot worse. They loaded the bases a few times, but the Brewers only come away with the 1 run. It's 4-3 after 2.5. Our thanks to Ed Sprague, A's Director of Player Development. Have a great year, pal.
Thank you.
We're back right after this. Great to have Ed Sprague, A's Director of Player Development, join me and Jim for the top of the third. The Brewers get a run back. They've scored in all 3 innings and lead 4-3. Tyson Harden out of the game. 2 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned. 2 walks and a strikeout. Gives way to the new right-hander, Brett Witrowski. Look out. Ball 1 on the cleanup hitter, Junior Perez, who keyed that 3-run second with an infield or a base hit into center. 1 of 4 hits in the inning after Harden went 1-2-3 in the first. Good numbers for Witrowski last year.
Yeah, he's the 13th round pick, another late round pick. The Brewers do an excellent job of that, like we keep saying. Mid-90s fastball, mid-80s slider. Comes right after guys. Both these lineups are deep, you know, top to bottom, a lot of threats. We got Brayson Geddes on deck. After Junior Perez, we talked about how tooled up he was. Brayson Geddes, we were just talking Ed Sprague. Joshua Crow to Growler, who I would have described as hit over power. We saw almost hit an opposite field home run. So a lot of threats up and down both these lineups. And we've had a lot of action today too, which has been fun.
I was also really impressed with the way Eduardo Nunez got out of that jam that he created in the third. Over the outside, good frame job right there from Wood to even things up 2-2.
Yeah, Leo DeVries helped him out with a strong throw from shortstop as well. But, you know, when you can throw 101 and whip up a 89-mile-an-hour slider, you can kind of get yourself out, James. You or me are out there, we're in trouble. We're giving up 10 runs.
So you're talking about the pitcher throwing 101. I thought you were talking about DeVries unloading 101.
No, if DeVries threw 101, Mason Wynn would have to come say something to it. But DeVries has a good arm, but not that good.
I sympathize with whoever's at first base for the Cardinals, but there's something I enjoy about Mason Wynn when he decides to just uncork one and fire a bullet to first. I really do enjoy it, although I'm sure receiving it is not the greatest feeling. Witrowski's first hitter's gone to 3-2. 4, 5, and 6 for the A's. Hit off the end of the bat to short. Gathered in by Madej. That throw down the line. And Blake Burke thought he had the tag. But the first base umpire, Kellen Martin, says, no, sir. I thought he got him running by. We'll get a look at the replay. But no matter what happens here, Blake Burke moves around really well for a big dude.
He's having an athletic day here at the ballpark. I thought he had him too, Greg. Let's take a look at this replay.
Thought he got him on the back of the uniform as he was walking by.
Which the umpire couldn't really see because of where he got him.
Get a better idea here. Hard to tell. But an error on Madej puts the tying run aboard, and now it's chopped foul by Geddes.
I had the research team look it up for you, Greg. Leo DeVries was 83.3 miles an hour, not 101, but that's still like top 5% of the throws you'll see in the big leagues.
Geddes a walk in the second. Seen a lot of walks in the early going here. And I think that's one of the takeaways, at least for me the last 2 days, calling these last 2 games, is that I think pitchers, especially the more highly touted ones, come out and they're looking to just light up the radar gun, and they come out of their mechanics and they lose the zone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's so much nerves, but I think the tendency always is in these types of games. You know, futures game in midseason too, guys, like, especially if you're a starter, you know you're going shorter than usual, so you can air it out.
Sure.
I don't know if that's what Cade Anderson was doing the other day, but Cade Anderson's super polished, and he didn't have any fastball command the other day.
I thought he was trying to be too fine the other day, just trying to pinpoint a little too much.
We should just be thankful we weren't at Camelback Ranch yesterday. When the White Sox walked 17 and the Dodgers walked 10, that would have been a very long spring breakout game. But yeah, I think guys are like, okay, I'm going to show what I could do, and they sometimes get a little amped up and, like you said, get out of their mechanics and struggle with it a little bit.
And it goes back to what we talked about before. I don't think that happens 2 years ago in the inaugural spring breakout. I think now with more eyes on it, guys understand that people are watching.
And next year we're going to have a tournament. It's not going to be 4 days in a row, but it's going to be 4 rounds, 15 teams in Florida, 15 teams in Arizona. The champions will not meet. Like, that's kind of logistically difficult. But you're going to have 4 games, and there's going to be, I don't know what the incentive will be, but the players who win those tournaments in Florida and Arizona are going to get something. So there's going to be even more, the stakes will be raised next year.
We're back to first to check on Perez. He's aboard after the throwing error by Madej. And this is the new age of baseball. And I understand certain aspects of it, but I'm looking at the scoreboard out in left field. Breaking ball hammered into right center. This ball's carrying back. This one's gone. Brayson Geddes gives it a ride and gives the A's the lead.
We talked about how this guy was a gifted young player, hit a 450-foot shot off of Michael King in the big leagues. That wasn't 450 feet. That was only 425. Only 425, Greg. So he's slipping 106 miles an hour. The guy's 18 years old.
He got a hanger and he punished it, and he wasn't sure because he's running out of the box. But you can tell by the reactions from both Payne and Ragsdale in the outfield that it was not coming back. Because of the error, the A's take the lead after falling behind 3-0.
I think we're going to have a lot of runs scored here today, especially if we don't get more strikes. But the ball is carrying. If you get the ball up, it is going to fly today.
So Brayson Geddes, who walked and scored in the second, breaks into his home run trot and slams it out over the wall in right center to give the A's a 5-4 advantage.
And I know I always say this, but that's what I love about these games is when you hear about these young players. Like, I'd never seen Brayson Geddes play. I hadn't heard much about him. I don't do our A's prospects.
You'll know him now.
Territory. And I talked to Ed Sprague about him the other day, and he's talking about how he's a really upcoming player, and he hit the, crushed the ball for Michael King. And we talk about in the broadcast, and bam, 425 feet.
I think if you hit one off Michael King, no offense, you look at Brett Witrowski and say, I think I can do the same thing, if not a little better.
Feel confident.
Kuroda Grauer, who had an RBI double his first time, fouls it back 3-2. But I was saying before we were so rudely interrupted by the Geddes home run that the scoreboard in left field has both the pitch speed and then next to it the exit velocity. They're displaying both, which I don't think I've seen in a ballpark before.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed it there in the bottom right-hand corner. I hadn't noticed that either. We're a little spoiled up here because we've got StatCast coming to us on our laptops, so I'm not in the stands. But yeah, I don't remember seeing exit velocities in too many ballparks before. The problem is my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, so I kind of have to squint to make it out.
I'll be your eyes.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You be my ears.
You're much younger, as we established on the last broadcast when I was telling anecdotes from before you were born.
Slash to first, Blake Burke is there. Nice to see Kuroda Grauer hustling up the line. Finally one away in the A's third. So the Brewers led 3-1 and 4-3. Both teams with 5 hits. And it's Shotaro Mori who had the RBI infield single in the second to bring in the second A's run. Left side of the infield shifted out with Fisher at third and Madej at short.
I was going to say the A's have done a nice job of minimizing, even though they've given 4 runs in 3 innings, they've stranded 4 runners in scoring position. I've lost track of steals, I think.
That's ripped past steals. Burke and down the line. Maury puts a charge into this one. He's eyeing it in the corner, picks up his third base coach, and he's got a triple, no problem.
And both these teams coming to hit today. And as we mentioned earlier, he's a two-way guy. I don't think we're going to see him pitch today, but he's also a pitcher.
My guess, I was going to ask you this before, as you get another look at this bullet down the line. Blake Burke trying to reach out and get it, but as good as he's been, he had no chance. And Maury following the play the whole way. He did exactly what you're supposed to. Looking at it halfway between first and second, and then picking up his third base coach on his way to third. I imagine that they envision him more long-term as an infielder instead of a pitcher, right?
I feel like there's more upside there, but you never know how those things are really going to play out.
You know, it could change at some point.
Yeah, you just kind of let it develop. I was going to say, looking at the data here, talking about you and your exit velocities, Greg, you're Mr. Exit Velocity.
Yeah.
Brayson Geddes, 106 miles an hour on his home run. Kuroda Grauer on the ground out was 100 miles an hour. And then we had 107 miles an hour on that triple. They are seeing Brett Witkowski pretty well and barreling him up.
Infield is in for Montero. Looking to slash it right by the runner Maury over at third. So Tyson Hardin was perfect in the first. And now the A's are clogging the bases in the last 2 innings. 0-2, miss its mark, a bit outside. Number 9 batter Cole Kahn is on deck, and we get a challenge from the catcher Matt Wood. Catchers have been pretty successful here, but this time it stays outside and the call stands. 1-2 on Montero.
Like, that's an interesting strategic decision because it's early in the game. Obviously, they're trying to limit the damage, but you're ahead 0-2. At worst, you're going to be behind 1-2, and now you get up a challenge. That's going to be one of the nuances. Isn't just, okay, I'm going to challenge, but when do I challenge?
Right.
You know, do we want to challenge? Hey, we're down by a run. And it's the 3rd inning. Maybe we wait. Like, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out at the big league level because the challenge process, I think, is going to be smooth. It's fun to watch if you're at the ballpark or on TV. It's quick. It's unobtrusive. But, you know, who's allowed to challenge and when? Like, does Aaron Judge get more leeway to challenge than, say, Anthony Volpe? I would assume so.
I think case by case, right?
Yeah.
Like, you look at different teams and different guys. Are guys given the green light to challenge?
And then I saw today Patrick Bailey, I think, is 10 for 12 in challenges. So maybe the Giants are like,
surprise there.
Like, you know, go ahead. Like you have carte blanche to challenge early in games.
So like a guy like that is an extreme case because he is the best defensive catcher in baseball, both with the eye test and with the numbers to back it up. And side note, one thing we're noticing here is that Witkowski does not have a put-away pitch at this point.
He's throwing hard.
He's been to 2 strikes. He just can't put these guys down. Montero's fouled off a few. And this time he stares at strike 3. So a big second out. But first, we get a challenge from Montero, thinking that he'll get a second crack at it. Get a look at the ABS full screen graphic, and that's right there, no doubt about it. And Montero's down looking for the second time.
I've joked, I feel like, and this was not the case, if the ball is completely in the strike zone, there should be a penalty. That should count as 2 challenges. Or like if you miss and the ball is more than a ball's width off the plate, they should get you. I think that might be it for him.
Yeah, that's it. Nick Stanley, the traveling manager, comes out and takes the baseball away from Brett Witkowski, who is not happy as he walks off the mound. He's given up the lead. The A's are up 5-4, and they break into the bullpen for the second time, still in the 3rd. Jesus Broca is the new pitcher for the Brewers. As you get a wide shot look of Hohokam Stadium, and now the numbers for Broca over 39 appearances last year, 78 in the 3rd inning, 72 strikeouts. The walks a bit high. Opponent's average under 250. And takes over for Brett Witkowski, who faced 5 batters and did get a couple of outs, but a 2-run homer from Brayson Geddes has given the A's their first lead at 5-4.
And this is not the first time you've broadcast a Jesus Broca game, because he was a fall star in the Arizona Fall League last year.
Well, in that case, if you remember, I didn't do the Fall Stars game last year.
I thought you did the Fall Stars game in that championship game.
Fly ball to right. This one is back. This one is gone. Cole Kahn drives it out the other way. The bullpen loves it. And the A's have their second 2-run homer of the inning as they go up 7-4.
I feel like we're playing at Coors Field today.
This is like being in Sacramento. So Geddes and Kahn both walked in the 2nd, and now they both hit 2-run homers to right in the 3rd.
One opposite field there with a line drive, 93-mile-an-hour sinker, turned it around at 101 and snuck it just over the fence. 368 on that one.
Back to the top, and Henry Bolte Staring at strike one. So no, Jim, I did not do the Fall Stars game. That was Paul Severino this past year.
See, I didn't do the Fall Stars game either. We were supposed to do the championship game.
So you and I missed out on each other, and now we more than make up for it with 2 games at Spring Breakout. 1-1 on Bolte, who had the infield single to tie the game in the second. But the A's have taken over. 3 in the second, 4 in the third, and a 7-4 lead.
I knew it was a great MLB Network announcer who I've done several games with who did the game. I wasn't in the booth, so it's not like I forgot.
And we're both Italian guys from the Northeast. I understand that there's things that get
You have better hair than Paul, so like, I should have been able to distinguish.
Don't tell him that.
He knows that. Come on.
2-1 breaker, top of the zone, 2-2.
So we've seen Henry Bolte show off his speed. First inning, barely out of first base, 4.33 down the line, which is exceptional. And then 4.26 down the line to barely beat out an infield hit in the second inning, which is even more than exceptional. Almost
Look alive, Jimmy.
I flinched.
That was right there.
I flinched as it got closer. I was like,
it was coming right for you. The only thing, we've said it for years, going back to the minor league days, it can hit any of the equipment that doesn't belong to us.
That's
it
right.
Can't
I was
hit
worried
your
about
laptop.
the computer.
It can't hit my tablet. Anything else is fair
the
game.
monitor's not mine, so I would have protected the laptop and not the monitor.
That's some changeup in the dirt, and the throw down by Wood ends the inning. But the A's explode and are treating Hohokam like a bandbox. Grayson Geddes got it started with a pull shot, and then Cole Kahn went the other way. 2 two-run homers. It's 7-4 A's. It's a bandbox today inside of Hohokam Stadium in Mesa. Ball is jumping, and the A's are capitalizing on it, getting a pair of 2-run homers in the third from Grayson Geddes and Cole Kahn. They go to their new pitcher. It's Cade Morris who gets a fresh inning and a lead. And the top of the order in the fourth, Eduardo Nunez stranded the bases loaded after getting the last 2 outs in the third. And now Morris from the full wind deals strike 1 to Jesus Medei.
He came over from the Mets in a trade for Paul Blackburn a couple years ago. He throws everything: 4-seam, 2-seam, sinker, sweeper. I'm sorry, 4-seam. He's so many pitches I can't get him out of my mouth quick. 4-seam, 2-seam, slider, sweeper, curveball, changeup.
Whatever he threw right there was soft, and Medei had no chance. Jesus is 1 for 2 with a double and a run. Still battling at 0-2. Pena and Fisher to follow. One thing in reading about Cade Morris is that he shows personality on the mound. Breaking ball got him. Slow curve. And he carves up Medei for the first out.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a, you come in the game, you get to face the number 3 prospect in baseball, you get the number 26 prospect in baseball on deck, and then the third hitter is the best third base prospect in baseball. And he showed no, I mean, he came in there, he mixed it up, got him with a very slow curveball. Yeah, he came after Medei. He went sinker, changeup, 4-seam curve for the strikeout. 4 different pitches.
So far, he has not missed the strike zone. A perfect 5 for 5. Pena gets under it and sends a shot into center. Tough sun. Bolte trying to locate, and he pulls it down for out number 2. Again, that's another ball that's hit off the end of the bat, not squared up, and yet it travels. It's 411 at dead center. That ball carried pretty well.
And he got under it. I mean, I'm looking here at the data. Launch angle of 40 degrees. So that was a pop-up.
All right, explain that to me. I'm not a math guy.
Well, it's just the angle the ball comes off the bat.
Okay.
Optimally, 40 is more of a pop-up. It's going more straight up off the bat. It still went 340 feet.
Andrew Fisher trying to get in after starting 0 for 2. Talked about Fisher the other day and how the young man from New Jersey made quite the impact for Team Italy in the WBC. 5 for 14 with a homer and 5 RBIs. And so far, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. Cade Morris is locked in, and he is not missing.
He's working quick, and he's mixing pitches and keeping the hitters off balance. I mean, the Brewers drew 3 walks last inning, and he's just coming in and pounding the zone.
It's not going to be an immaculate inning, but if he can get the side on 9 strikes, we'll take it.
we will appreciate it, considering we're on roughly a 4-hour pace when this inning began.
You had to bring it up, didn't you?
I did.
You had to
Well, I
bring it
mean,
up.
anybody's watching the game can realize that, and I'm enjoying it. We have action. Things are happening. This isn't.
But you're doing a lot of math in this inning. First you're talking launch angles. That's geometry. Now you're going to arithmetic. You know what? Take a half inning off.
Do some trigonometry between innings.
1-2, taken outside by Fisher.
That was a good take. Now, you were mentioning his exploits with Team Italy. He was a first-round pick last year, and he had the best data of any college hitter. When you're talking about swing decisions, contact, exit velocities, more numbers for you there. But he got him on that's still a curveball eating him up.
Swing and a miss. Cade Morris with 2 strikeouts and a perfect 4th. We're going to the home half with the A's in front, 7-4. Cade Morris motors through the side in the top of the 4th. He strikes out Madej and Fisher, 2 of the Brewers' top 6 prospects. And now Milwaukee back into the bullpen for the 3rd time with right-hander Ethan Dorches, who had a really nice year. Stretched out over 19 games, 82 innings, 89 strikeouts, a whip and an opponent's average that'll open eyes for anybody.
Yeah, he was an under-the-radar guy when Milwaukee took him as a high schooler out of Illinois in the 10th round 2024. You can see a big guy out there, 6'5". He gets down the mound really well, so it's a ton of extension, helps the stuff play up, foul ball there. You know, it's his fastball, he throws 4-seamer, 2-seamer, both low 90s, but because he's releasing the ball so far out in front of the plate, they get on you quicker. He's got a nasty splitter if you're trying to adjust to that. He'll mix in a slider and a cutter, and I think it's another late-round find by the Brewers.
Their number 20 prospect is only 19 years old. And what I found interesting about Ethan Dorches is that he was a 10th round pick in 2024 out of Cary Grove High School, the same high school as, you guessed it, one Quinn Priester. Hit off the end of the bat to left. This one not carrying as far. Adam Shevsky now approaching the track, and he reaches up to make the catch. I mean, again, that ball looks routine, and it just keeps going.
So you're saying the Brewers are cornering the market on Cary Grove right-handers?
They're finding it. So he gets to Vries, who's 0 for 3, and that means the A's are doing damage in the rest of the lineup because their number 1 prospect has not contributed to this 7-4 lead. Neither is Tommy Tanks. Tommy White at the plate now 0 for 2. Love that kind of movement. 2-seam run on the outer half at 95.
Yeah, he's not going to just blow it by you, but between the extension and the shape of his pitches and the life, it's not a fun at-bat.
Slow wind for Dorches. Gets a ground ball back up the middle. Diving stop. Madej gets up. Low throw, and it gets through Burke. Madej rushed it. He had time to plant and throw to get White. But unfortunately for Jesus, he commits his 2nd throwing error of the afternoon.
I don't know. Like, the guy made a diving stop. That's not a base hit.
Listen, you used to score in Durham.
And I was tough.
You were tough, but to me,
that's not a routine play. That shouldn't be an error. But I think Burke feels bad because he should have scooped it. That wasn't that bad of a. That was an easy scoop.
I go by where White was. He wasn't even on the inside part of the cutout over at first, and I think Madej would tell you he's got to make a better throw.
And he rushed the play, but
They do give him a hit, by the way.
Okay.
So Jim Callis scored it right, and again, all those years scoring Durham Bulls games clearly gives you the edge over me.
You could see, though, Burke was mad at himself, and Burke's had a really nice day doing a little bit of everything. That ball took a nice hop, and he should have scooped that. Like, it wasn't like he had to dig it. He took a nice hop, and you could see him look at his glove like, I can't believe I missed that ball.
Tommy White is aboard with a 1-out single. 8 hits for the A's. And here's Junior Perez, who reached on that previous misthrow from Madej.
That was a legit error.
Yes.
100%.
Prior to that, a single and a run in the 2nd. So he scored twice. And he jams one off his front leg.
Oh, they did. They called it an E3, which is interesting. Because it took a nice.
About that.
I think you could argue that was a fairly routine play for the first baseman because he was not having to scoop it. It came up like thigh high, and you could see Burke. I bet if you asked Blake Burke, he would 100% tell you he should have had it because he looked at disbelief. So
surprisingly, 3 errors now on the Brewers, all on the infield.
I will say that's elite official scoring.
1-2 breaker got away. 2-2 on Perez.
And outside of the bottom of the first with Tyson Hart and the top of the fourth with Cade Morris, there's been a lot going on in every inning. Just nonstop action in this one. I'm getting excited because you know who's on deck.
I sure do. Matt Wood trying to steal a strike, but taken high. 3-2 on Perez. And the newcomer of this game, Brayson Geddes, is who Jim's referring to. There he is. It's a good number for camp, 77.
Yep. I bet we might see a replay before his next at bat. Junior Perez, I mean, he's tooled up too.
Yep.
I mean, there's just looking at the power at the top of this lineup, and then I keep getting back to Kuroda Grauer, who's not a power guy, and he tripled off the top of the wall. Oppo, Maury tripled, Cole Kahn homered. I mean, there's power all through this lineup.
These have done a little of everything. This one sliced into right. Ragsdale's there. Finally, a routine play in the outfield. How about Ragsdale having to come in instead of retreat back? A couple of flyouts to the corners gives Dortche's 2 here in the fourth. And here's the man of the hour, Brayson Geddes. He walked and scored in the second, and then hit a 2-run homer to give the A's the lead in the third.
Talented enough that Ed Sprague, the A's farm director, told us he's not going. I surmised earlier he'd be making his U.S. debut in the Arizona Complex League in May. He will be making his U.S. debut in the Single A California League in April as an 18-year-old.
The way he puts a charge into the ball, he could be looking at 25 home runs when all's said and done. It was a one-handed finish for the San Felipe Venezuela native. And Geddes moving fast, turns 19 in September, so he'll celebrate the final month at the end of his teenage years. Strike one delivery. Reaches out and punches it foul. Might have been ball one, but Dortche's will take it. Up in the count, 0-2.
Like I said at the top of this inning, Dortche's has about 5 or 6 different pitches, so hard to zero in on one. You're never sure what he's going to give you necessarily.
Looking for that outside corner. And Wood, knowing that he pulled it back, no challenge, 1-2.
You got a 3-run lead. It's the fourth inning. Not a situation you want to waste a challenge in.
Third baseman Fisher way off the line, back near the shortstop hole. And Geddes slightly closed off on the left side. Well, sky one to left. Adam Shefsky is back. Track, leaps, he's got it. Josh Adamszewski with a beauty to pull it off the wall and take an extra base hit away from Brayson Geddes. So the Brewers, despite 3 errors, can still play a little defense. Josh Adamszewski follows this one from start to finish. 7-4 going to the 5th. Well, Jim, the way we've talked about Brayson Geddes opening your eyes, Blake Burke has opened our eyes too. The big first baseman cleaning up for the Brewers, goes after the first one, diving stop, Maury gets up, throws, yes sir. Shotaro Maury having a great day. And he extends out to deny Burke of his third base hit.
I wanted to see if Blake Burke was going to steal some more bases for us because he's been running wild. But yeah, really nice play by Maury. And again, we've talked about him. He's a shortstop slash right-handed pitcher, so he does a little bit of everything. Nice defensive play there to take a hit away from Blake Burke. And
now we're getting spoiled with the defense, Jim.
Cade Morris just continues to work quick and throw strikes and get outs.
There's Josh Adamszewski, who made a leaping catch at the wall to end the bottom of the fourth. Took a hit away from Brayson Geddes, who was looking for his second extra base hit. Big slurping curve, whatever you want to call it, in for a strike.
And that worked for him. I mean, last inning he got Madej and Fisher swinging at that pitch for strikeouts.
Changeup had him out front, and you said it before. I think this is the fastest we've seen a pitcher work in Cade Morris, and there is no nonsense with him. And finally, you get Adamszewski to step out and throw him off his rhythm a bit. Adam Shevsky has walked and struck out. Good take. Cole Kahn wants a challenge. He thinks he got one bottom of the zone.
He's disagreeing with your good take there.
Now, Adam Shevsky did go down
take.
looking in the first, and sometimes you get it right up here.
What's that, 9/10 of an inch? Is that what we're saying? Yeah, 9/10 of an inch. See,
I'm telling you, you are on point today.
I'll be the contrarian here a little bit. If we have the technology to get all the calls right, why don't we just get the calls right?
I don't think that's necessarily a contrarian take. I think there are plenty of people that would agree with that. Payoff coming. And Adam Shevsky sticks around after initially falling behind 1-2. I believe at this point the A's are out of challenges. Now, one thing I haven't figured out yet, because this is still new to me. Swing and a miss. Curveball gets him. And Cade Morris is dialed in. 5 up, 5 down. That's his third punch out.
Yeah, that curveball is just giving the Brewers fits. It's not especially powerful, but look how much that drops. And he hung that, but he still had enough depth that he couldn't catch up to it.
It starts as a ball and then probably works its way back into the strike zone. Goes hard with that one. Dickinson sends it foul. You're looking at elite movement from Cade Morris, trying to finish off 2 perfect innings and get us to the halfway point. And when he's missing, and you hear guys say this all the time, better to miss down. How about 96 with the sinker?
Yep. It's keeping everybody off balance.
And
not giving you any time to think, and you don't know what's going to come from it.
This one cracked, deep left center field. This ball's hanging up, and it gets through. Geddes and Bolte couldn't decide who wanted it, and now they've got a chance to get him at third. Here's the throw in the tag, not in time. Daniel Dickinson, speed racer, into third with a 2-out triple.
It just didn't look like anybody was demonstrably calling for that ball. It looked like Geddes got it, maybe got a glove on it. And they almost got him at third, but good hustle all the way.
Not an easy relay for DeVries. I thought he had a really good chance to get him. I was a little surprised to see Dickinson make the turnaround second. But the triple that sneaks through into left center keeps the inning alive for Matt Wood, who has walked twice and scored a run.
Yeah, especially with 2 outs and your team down by 3. You don't usually take that chance there.
Good stop by Kahn. And I think one of the takeaways, I'll look at all this big picture stuff and evaluate these 4 games that we've done here the last few days. I think the catching position for a lot of these teams is very short up. You know, we haven't seen a lot of guys really bust out offensively, but in terms of blocking and receiving, we've seen a lot of standouts. This one's popped up, shallow left. DeVries is out, backpedaling and making the catch. So despite the 2-out triple, nothing else for the Brewers. Cade Morris keeps him down for 2 innings. He's got 3 strikeouts, and the A's have a 3-run lead. Over the last 3 days of spring breakout, we've seen a little of everything. That'll happen when you call roughly 27 innings of baseball. Last night, the D-backs and Rockies. 2 days ago, Jim and I had the Brewers and Mariners. And then we got it started on Thursday with the Guardians and the Angels. But here we are, 4.5 innings in, Jim, and I think we've seen more action in this one than the other 3. Over the course of 9 innings, we've seen that halfway through this one.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of steals. We've had some interesting defensive plays. We've had
a couple of 2-run homers for the A's.
We've had multiple. We've had 3 triples, 2 triples. I've lost track. We've had guys flying around the bases. That's all I know. Which is why it's 7-4 halfway through the game.
There's Joshua Kuroda-Grauer getting things started for the A's. Staring at strike 1 from the big righty Ethan Dorches. It would have had a 1-2-3 inning if not for an error at first by Blake Burke. 3 fly ball outs. Oh man, we talked about the big curve from Cade Morris. How about that one from Dorches, leveling up 0-2.
And that's a little harder. He's thrown his 80. I think Morris has been sitting around 76. Morris has more depth to it, but that was like a nice power curveball there.
Kuroda-Grauer, RBI double and a run. He's 1 for 2. followed by Shotaro Mori and Edgar Montero. Well, it looks like the changes are going to start rolling in, at least right now for the A's. Drew Swift is on deck, getting ready for his first AB. And that time Dortche's falling off the mound evens things up.
Brewers guys may go a little deeper. I don't think they have as many position players on their bench as the A's do. But the A's, since this is the only game they're playing, are going to try to get all their position guys in the game. A lot of the Brewers have already played and gotten some action.
And I don't think we could see any more from Shotaro Mori. He's already impressed us.
Come on, he can pitch.
Yeah, let him get out there. He'll finish 2 for 2 with an RBI, a triple, and a run, plus a great diving stop at second base. 3-2, lofted off first.
Is that being greedy for me to want him to pitch?
No, I think in these events you should be greedy.
Two-way guy should play both ways.
Because that's the other thing.
Let's break back up here. Where is he?
You know, the other thing, when you looked at the spring breakout roster for the A's, they had him listed as a two-way guy. Like, he had his own column on the roster, which I also have not seen. Maybe ever.
And shortstop right-hand pitcher is a little tougher, too, than being outfielder pitcher or first baseman pitcher.
Yeah, most of the guys we've seen, like Caglione was an outfielder when he was a two-way guy at Florida. Paul Skeens was a catcher, which is crazy to think about now.
But his arm is superhuman, so it worked at Air Force. Shohei Ohtani was an outfielder slash pitcher in Japan.
Chopper to short, backing up on it Midday, throws from the grass, long one, gets away. He has just not looked right after making some great plays the other day in the game against the Mariners. Midday right there just did not put himself in a good position to throw off his back foot. Not that it was an easy play, mind you. He do have to back up and gather himself, but you can see right there, just no chance for Burke coming down the line.
Yeah, that just sailed on him.
That is 4 errors on the Brewers. Second one on Midday, and now for the first time, Drew Swift stands in the box and stares at strike one.
Swift is a defensive-oriented player. He's been up to AAA with the A's, part of their team that won the PCL championship last year.
Look out, that dugout just got scared.
And again, in our daily anecdote that predates your entire life, Greg.
Yes, sir.
I went to college with his dad. His dad, Pat, was the shortstop on Georgia's first College World Series team in 1987, which, if I believe I have this down, a year before you were born.
That is correct.
So that's our daily anecdote from before Greg was born.
Runner gets a great jump, swung on and missed, throw down to second. It's a stolen base for Kuroda Grauer. On the play, Swift down on strikes for the first out.
I think that's the first stolen base for the A's today. They've been doing their damage with extra base hits, but good jump there, turns it into a stolen base. It's hard with all the rule changes they've made. It's hard to keep guys from stealing bases.
That was their first steal. Here's Edgar Montero trying to change his fortunes. Back-to-back strikeouts looking. And the second and the third. You got the Brewers who are running wild early in this game, but haven't scored in the last 2 innings. So the A's with 1 stolen base, and then you look at the Brewers, and they have 6, with 3 belonging to their big first baseman, Blake Burke. Looks like Dortche's slowing things down with the runner at second. There's 1-1 to Montero. There's chopped to short. Another chance for Midday. Nice high hop. Sets and throws on the money for the out.
You saw there he shuffled a couple times
sure
to
did.
make sure he...
Like, hey, kid, take a breath. It's okay. To the bottom of the order, and Cole Kahn. Last time up, he left the yard pulling a 2-run homer into the bullpen in right field. That's the last offense we saw. 7-4 now with 2 gone in the 5th. Big swing, looking for his second. So you mentioned the A's AAA team, the Las Vegas Aviators. Won just their 3rd Pacific Coast League championship last year. Their first, Jim, since 1988, the year I was born. So we're straddling both sides of the historical line at this point.
And we had a good time, Tyler Mon and I, calling the AAA National Championship game. Great stadium. Love Las Vegas, Aviators Stadium. They actually got walked off in their own stadium, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
Because it's AAA National Championship game, and they were playing the Marlins Pensacola affiliate.
Who had a better record, so they were technically the home team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the Las Vegas actually rallied in the top of the 9th to take the lead. Dramatic rally, but then got walked off in the bottom half, unfortunately. Or unfortunately for them.
Tip back, 2-2 on Kahn. Ethan Dortches trying to wrap up 2 scoreless innings. 2 base runners he's allowed have come on errors, so looking at 2 hitless innings.
I have to self-edit. It was not Pensacola's double edit. It's Jacksonville jump.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, Jacksonville.
Sorry to the Blue Wahoos.
Jacob Berry had the big walk-off homer to walk off Las Vegas in their own stadium.
I got to be honest, I think I'd have a tough time getting work done if I had to go out to Las Vegas for a game.
I'm telling you, they put us up at the Red Rock Resort. It's nice accommodations.
Yeah,
and it's right across the street from the ballpark.
It doesn't sound terrible.
It's a good weekend.
Here's the payoff, and he lost him. A walk to Kahn. That's his second. He's been on base all 3 times.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a rough game early. They were running on him, gave up a pass ball, but he's made up for it offensively.
2 at the corners for their number 5 prospect, Bolte. 1 for 3 with an infield single that brought in a run in the 2nd. So Matt Wood trying to slow things down here for Dortches. Goes out to the mound, and if you're the Brewers, you need to keep the game right here at 7-4. Again, 4 runs, 6 hits, 4 errors from Milwaukee. The A's with 7, 7, and 0 across the columns.
And you'd kind of like to get out of the inning here rather than face DeVries with multiple runners on base.
That's inside for ball 1. A's out of challenges. Brewers have 1 left. So Jim mentioned it before. You got to be very particular with how you want to deploy them. Remember, first Kahn dancing a bit, and we'll get a timeout at the plate. So we saw Kuroda Growers steal second. He's at 3rd right now. I can imagine Cole Kahn's thinking about it at first. Dortches with a good fastball right through the swing of Bolte that was looking to get out in front of it.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Dortches. I mean, he's had runners on, not really, 2 errors made behind him in 2 innings. The only base runner he's given up that's been his own fault has been this walk that we just saw to Cole Kahn.
That's the ground ball to second. Dickinson's there, and he gets him out of the inning. So despite the error and the walk, the A's do not score. And we go to the 6th with the A's leading 7-4. 6th inning begins at Hohokam Stadium in Mesa, Arizona. Temperatures once again rising into the triple digits for the final day of spring breakout. And a look at the A's top 8 prospects. We've seen quite a few of them so far in this one, with Leo DeVries leading the way. Jamie Arnold and Gage Jump, who is not on this spring breakout roster. 3 of their top guys dotted around the top 100 prospects list. And a big swing right there from Braylon Payne. Strike 1 from Cade Morris, embarking on his 3rd inning.
The interesting thing about that list is you were talking about how they've, the A's are on the rise, they're getting better. They need some pitching. All 4 of those pitchers, Jamie Arnold, Gage Jump, Wayne Lynn, Braden Nett, are probably going to be up this year next at the latest. As are Leo DeVries is going to probably be up next year at the latest.
I've heard a lot about Braden Nett, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, another guy they got from the Padres, live arm. Very interesting guy. He's up to 99 miles an hour. He's got a hard cutter. He's got a curveball. He's got a changeup. He's got a variety of pitches. But all those guys are going to be up. The only guy in that top 8 who's not going to be quick to the bigs is Johansen Colome, who's an international guy signed this year.
Morris gets Payne to roll over on the elevated breaking ball. Round out to the right side for Drew Swift, who's into the game for the first time. The other 2 changes over on the left side. Bobby Bozer's now at third. Ryan Lasko takes over for our guy Brayson Geddes in left field. And Payne with that ground out, back to the dugout, 1 for 3. So the number 9 hitter, Josiah Ragsdale. Ragsdale's been on because of a fielder's choice, but 1 for 2 with a couple of balls on the ground. Again, the Brewers raced out with runs in each of their first 3 innings, but nothing since Cade Morris came into the game, and that's been it right there. Fastball at 96 with sink.
They were running wild. They scored those 4 runs, Greg, but they also left 4 runners in scoring position too, and it's come back to haunt him.
What I've liked about him, everything's moving.
Yep.
Right? Like there's nothing that's being held in the same spot.
And it's different directions. It's not like he's got the fastball and the changeup that are both running one direction. He's mixing pitches. It's different shapes. It's different directions. He's working quick, throwing strikes.
And so he's shown the sinker, and then you see that fastball at 96 with a little carry on it. And then he drops in the hammer. Beautiful curveball over the outside for out number 2. And the 4th strikeout for Morris.
Every one of those has been on a curveball. Just look at the depth on this thing. It started off high. Ragsdale eased up a little bit, and then drops right over the plate for strike 3.
Brady Ebel is going to bat in place of Jesus Madej. So Madej has his day end, 1 for 3 with a double and a run. Nice to see Brady back out there once again after a opportunity off the bench Friday against the Mariners. It's under this one. Skies it to deep center. Bolte is back, and he's got it, giving Cade Morris a perfect 6th. 3 innings of 1-hit relief, 4 strikeouts, and the A's maintain their 7-4 lead. Final day of the 3rd annual Spring Breakout brings us back inside of Hohokam Stadium in Mesa, Arizona. It's called the Cactus League for a reason, and nothing's going to grow in this heat. A record heat wave in Arizona, but we're still so happy to be with you as you get a look at Wandy Torres. His numbers last year in A-ball, strikeout per inning, but an ERA of 4.81. He takes over after 2 hitless innings from the impressive right-hander Ethan Dorches as the Brewers look to come back in this game. The A's looking to add on, up 7-4.
It's a decent fastball, good slider. You could see there the ERA was high because he doesn't always throw strikes. And hey, first batter you face is number 4 prospect in baseball.
And yet we're still waiting on Leo DeVries to make his mark. 0 for 3 with a ground out and a couple of flyouts to the corners. Torres, the big lefty from the 3rd base side. Same spot, 2-0.
So which nickname do you like better? Do you like La Bestia, Jorge Bautista, who we saw hit a monster home run, or do you like DeVries? That chain he's wearing on his neck, it says El Mutante.
Ooh. You know, I like La Bestia because of how excited it made you the other day. Right? Like, you didn't have as much enthusiasm talking about the chain for Leo.
Yeah. Hey, well, he hasn't hit a ball
over.
like 5,000 feet for a home run on top of a merchandise shack out in right center.
So the changes are now coming in for the Brewers. Josiah Ragsdale moves from right to center. DeVries gets a piece, and count fills up to 3-2. Jose Anderson is now in right field. Juan Ortuno is at second for Daniel Dickinson. Darian Miller back behind the plate doing the catching, and the 3-2. DeVries sticks around, and I'll see one more. Jim, the best part is we don't have to go through these defensive changes again for quite some time.
That's true.
I will miss you in the next couple of days.
I'll call you with some random defensive changes that I'm observing in spring training games and big league exhibition games.
Eric Batanti, who we saw the other day, takes over for Blake Burke over at first. And Hendel Fry Encarnacion is the new left fielder as DeVries rolls over on one to short. Ebel gets tested, strong throw in time to get him. So we were hoping for a Leo DeVries explosion, but all we've got, despite this 7-4 lead, is an 0-for-4.
Hopefully they'll leave him in the game. We can probably get another at bat, right?
I would hope so. Again, selfishly,
This is all about us and what we want to see.
we're fans. Don't believe they made a change over at third. I believe it's still Andrew Fisher.
I think we still have Luis Pena, Andrew Fisher still in the game, and Braylon Payne in center. I think they've subbed out everybody else.
Full windup for Tommy White, who's 0-for-3. Broken bat roller off the end. Once again, Ebel's there, drops it, recovers, fires. Yes, sir. Nice play.
Didn't panic. Dropped the ball, knew the runner, knew he had a second, picked it back up and made a strong throw to first.
And if you're the Brewers, you just can't see another error on the board. That's already 4. And again, a good job right there by Brady to not panic and get White just in time. 2 ground outs to the shortstop. Bringing up Junior Perez. Perez 1-for-3 with a single and a couple of runs. Another ground ball to short. Knocked down again. Ebel has to get rid of it quickly, and he does. That was an adventure. Pee-wee's Playhouse for Brady Ebel, but he's able to handle all 3 ground balls and send this one to the 7th. Cade Morris has stopped the Brewers lineup dead in their tracks. 3 innings, 1 hit. And a look at his 4 strikeouts right here. He's working everything in. He's got a nasty curveball working. And he's faced one over the minimum as he embarks on his 4th inning of relief. 36 pitches over 3 innings. Going with 2, 3, and 4 for the Brewers. Luis Pena gets at least 1 more AB as the DH, and he takes a look at strike 1. Pena an RBI single and a run in the first. Remember, the Brewers had a 3-0 lead after the top of the 2nd. The A's took over with 3 in the home half and then 4 in the 3rd. Adding a couple of 2-run homers from Grayson Geddes and Cole Kahn. And he aggressive, attacking high, 1 and 2. Can't imagine too many guys in this spring breakout, not only this year, but going back the last 2 years, Jim, have pitched more than 3 innings.
Well, Chase Petty.
Swing and a miss. Pena off balanced. Strikeout number 5 for Morris.
He's been impressive. Chase Petty, who's got some big league experience, pitched 4 innings against the Giants. It was pretty overpowering in the first game. But, you know, I don't say, I mean, you want to get different guys opportunity to pitch, but at the same time, you're trying to get these guys ready for the big leagues. So maybe he was, you know, scheduled to throw 4 today, or X number of pitches because he's been so efficient. Maybe it's 50 pitches, so they're going to let him go the 4th inning so he can get the work in.
Just peppering the zone. Andrew Fisher trying to erase an 0-for-3 with a couple of strikeouts. Steps out with Morris, a notoriously fast worker. A couple of changes in the outfield for the A's. Tell you about those in a moment. Morris from the full wind. So you've got Cameron Leary in center field. And then in left, it's Ryan Lasko, who's still in the ball game. And Dylan Feen now over at first for Tommy White.
I can't promise you those are the last changes because the A's, unlike the Brewers, have only played 1 game.
Swing and a miss. Back to that slow curve. And the Brewers just cannot figure out Cade Morris.
Yeah, I mean, the breaking balls worked really well. He got Pena on the slider, but as you said, back to the curveball that's been so good for him all day.
You talk about pitch shapes. Watch Morris right here on the back end. Yes, sir. Showing his teeth like a great white. Blood in the water and looking for 3 strikeouts in the 7th. 3 2/3, 1 hit, 6 punch outs. for Cade Morris. A catcher's delight and a broadcaster's dream as the sun actually fades behind the clouds for the first time in 4 days. This will send us to the stretch. Oh boy, this one's cracked. Deep right center. Watch this one sail away to the top of the berm. A no-doubter for Eric Battanti. And he blasts off to make it a 2-run game.
Okay, Greg, we know you have great eyes. How hard do you think you hit that and how far?
At least 240 miles an hour.
115 miles an hour, which is insane. 420 feet.
Oh, he got shortchanged on that.
Well,
That went
yeah,
further than 420.
Because if there's no berm there, that's going forever.
Wow. Eric Battanti says hello.
There's a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, which is one of the hardest pitches Cade Morris has seen. Eric Battanti says, yeah, don't swing at the breaking ball. Just sit on the fastball. That's what you do.
We've seen some moonshots in this spring breakout. Eric Battanti, the latest to make it 7-5.
So he's now 2 for 2 with a double and homer in 2 games.
Meeting the moment. Handle-free Encarnacion at the plate for the first time. Dean gives it a look. And the count levels off 2-2. You know, I would put that home run in the category of La Bestia.
Yeah, because you look how high that berm is.
I mean, it carried. Unfortunately, we don't have measurements to the alleys here in Mesa. Backdoor curve slipped away, so you're starting to see Morris now maybe fading down the stretch here as he crosses the 50 pitch mark. Remember, he started the 7th with back-to-back strikeouts.
Just throw the curveball and get at him.
That's it.
He tried.
Thought that was ball 4, but yeah, it is. There we go. Encarnacion finally realizing it as well. And so the tying run comes to the plate. And it'll be Juan Ortuño.
One of several players added to the roster. The Brewers changed it up because they were trying to get as many players involved in spring breakout. They turn over most of the pitching staff and about half the position players compared to what we saw on Friday.
Morris hasn't been in the stretch often. Fouled back after Daniel Dickinson got the start at second base. He was 1 for 2 with a triple, a walk, and a stolen base. Eric Battanti's home run still hasn't landed after getting all the way up on the berm in right center field for the Brewers. Well, you wanted the curve, Jimmy, you got it, but it missed inside, 1-1.
Still, despite the home run and that walk, he's pitched very, very well today.
He's been a treat. Ortuño, just 18 years old, chops it to short. And the flip to second forces out Encarnacion. But it's a game. Solo shot from Eric Battanti cuts it to 7-5 as we stretch at Hohoken. Well, in lieu of the 7th inning stretch, how about a little jump around by House of Pain? A's fans making their way out to Hohokam Stadium for the final few days of spring training, taking in the final spring breakout game in the 3rd edition of this minor league prospect showcase. Greg Caserta, Jim Callis, and the rest of our great crew, so happy to be with you after 4 very hot days in the desert, but we've seen a lot of good action. And an Eric Battanti solo shot, a moonshot, makes it 7-5 as the A's come to bat in the bottom of the 7th. Ryan Lasko at the plate for the first time. Get a look at Lasko's numbers from a year ago.
Had some injury issues, but he's got some power.
Left-hander Wandy Torres got 3 groundouts to short against 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup in the 6th. And he blows one by him. Some late movement on it. 97 on the gun to ring up Lasko. So similar to what we saw in a couple of these games, the middle relievers have calmed the storm. You know, we've seen it the last couple of innings with Cade Morris, and now Wandy Torres just getting it over and getting outs.
I think the next pitcher we will see from the A's is Steven Echeverria, who throws very hard. I talked to Ed Spring a few days ago. We'll see if they stay to that plan. But he was a high over slot 4th-round pick a couple years ago. Upper 90s with the fastball, and the slider's really coming on. So they think he's going to take a step forward this year. So we may see him.
Bobby Bowser is the A's number 30 prospect. And the nickname Bowser is just too perfect for him.
And he's a guy who does a little bit of everything. I don't know if there's a plus tool, but everything, you know, there's no glaring weakness. Spent 3 years in South Florida, transferred to University of Florida. Good senior year, went in the 11th round last year. And when I was talking to Ed when I was at A's camp a couple days ago, he was saying, I just don't know how an SEC performer shortstop like this last 11 rounds on the draft. They're very happy with it.
Fouled off, 3-2. Well, the number 11 seems to be the number today because we talked about the starter, Jamie Arnold. They were shocked that he went to them at number 11 in the 1st round. So they're hoping that they found something with Bowser in the 11th round of last year's draft as well. Start picking it up. Torres with some deceptive life on it at 95. And again, for a guy like Wandy Torres, really not a whole lot to write home about last year. ERA close to 5 and A-ball. 21 years old, not a ranked prospect, but looks good today.
Yeah, he's throwing strikes.
And he thought he had strike 3 right there. He started taking his march, but a walk to Bowser puts him on base with 1 out.
Good at bat there by Bowser to hang in there. See how close this pitch is.
Yeah, it's up. Drew Swift, a strikeout victim his first time. We were talking with A's broadcaster Chris Carey, and he was telling us that the A's schedule out of the gate is just atrocious, to be honest. He didn't use those words. I'm using them for him. Up high, 2-0. And I'll give you the full map of where they're going and what they're doing, because it's not going to be easy the first few weeks. Think about the Tigers last year and how they started. There's a strike back over the inner half, 2-1 on Swift. So here's how it looks. They go to Toronto starting next Friday. This coming Friday, technically. It's a weekend series against the defending AL champs. Too easy to take, 2-2. From there, they go to Atlanta. That'll stretch them into the following Wednesday, April 1st. They get a day off, come back to Sacramento for their home opener, which is a 3-game weekend series against the Astros. And then spend the next week in New York for 3 against the Yankees and the Mets. So not only is the travel brutal, but it's a rough schedule out of the gate. And if you look at where the A's were last year, 76 and 86, a couple of games here or there really matter in the end when you look at the standings.
Yeah, a 3-game homestand seems a little bit short for the start of the season.
Chopper to second. Ortuño lost his handle on it, can only get the 1 out at first. And Swift grounds out, pushing Bowser to second. Edgar Montero is coming out of the game as the DH. He was 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. So Devin Taylor is the new DH.
And we talked about how they've got some nice values in last year's draft. Devin Taylor, one of the top hitters in all of college baseball. The knock on him, he's more of a left fielder than an up-the-middle type of guy. But it's hit, it's power, it's constant production. His entire career at Indiana, all-time Hoosiers home run record with 54. And they got him much lower in the draft than they should have gotten. They got him in the 2nd round, pick 48, and that could wind up being a steal. He can really, really hit.
He was a 3-time first-team All-Big Ten selection at Indiana. Also had a strong showing in the Cape Cod League, so he's done a little bit of everything everywhere. And he's hanging around at 0-2. Wandy Torres trying to finish off 2 hitless innings of relief and get this one to the 8th.
Even after they signed him, he went to single A, hit 6 homers in 28 games. I mean, this guy hits everywhere he goes.
Well, he's getting a good test here against the lefty, and he checks one foul into the Brewers dugout. Ethan Dortche's prior to Torres threw 2 hitless innings. So you look back for the A's, they have not had a hit since that 2-run homer from Cole Kaan in the 3rd. Little check swing roller. This one stays fair, nice and easy for Torres. Has to get off a quick throw, and he nearly kills his first baseman, Batanti. Was able to pull it in and avoid the runner Taylor running up the line. 2 hitless innings for Wandy Torres. The Brewers are right on the doorstep at 7-5 as we move to the 8th. It was an absolute pleasure to watch Cade Morris get his work in today. He served up one bad pitch, which Eric Batanti hit out to make it a 7-5 game, but otherwise Cade Morris was just about perfect. 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. And he hands it off in the 8th inning to Steven Echeverria, who will look to protect this 7-5 lead. And the bottom third of the order coming up for Milwaukee. Echeverria working from the full wind. And he pounds the top of the zone for strike 1.
That was 94 miles an hour. You could see more than that at times too. He has the stuff. I mean, his stuff is so good, Greg. He's a 4th-round pick out of high school. We signed for $3 million, which was first-round money. There's 97 out of the fastball, and just the strikes haven't been there. So the development has been slow since they took him in 2023. But they feel like he's made a lot of progress with the slider in terms of being able to land it this spring. And they hope that having multiple pitches he can throw for strikes, and just instead of just having to rely on that fastball, could lead to bigger things as development starts to take off.
He's already got Darian Miller, the catcher, up for the first time in an 0-2 hole. Davis Diaz is now doing the catching for Cole Kaan. And the 1-2 is Sky deep to right field. The way it's flying today, you already know. A deep drive, and it's gone for Darian Miller.
Get the ball up in the air. It's going to go out here today.
And if you're an A's minor leaguer that plans on playing with the big league team for the next 2 years, you better get used to this, because this is how it flies in Sacramento. Darian Miller lifts off. And the Brewers, with a couple of solo shots in the 7th and the 8th, have made it a 1-run game.
Just went down and golfed that one over the right field fence.
Jose Anderson batting for the first time. Strike 1 delivery. Good slider moving away. Quickly 0-2. It's a rather rude greeting for Steven Echeverria. And the Brewers have made it 7-6. Still nobody out in the 8th.
We were talking about that slider, and Miller jumped on one and crushed it over the fence.
That's more of a cutter right there. Speeds it up to 90 and puts Anderson down on 3 pitches. And that's something, Jim, I've always looked at with pitchers. How do they respond immediately after a home run? Can't look much better than Echeverria did right there.
No, and he came back to the slider and eventually set the strikeout there with the 90-mile-an-hour cutter. But no, I mean, that's what you have to do. You give up the home run, you have to shake it off and come right back after guys. I mean, and that's his whole thing. He has stuff. He needs to challenge hitters. So even though he gave up the home run, I do think A's brass looking at this has to be happy that he came right after the next guy and got him out very quickly.
Nate Nankill's the new right fielder, so we got the best look at that Miller home run. Josiah Ragsdale still in the game. Went from right field to center field. Ragsdale so far at the plate 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Echeverria drops and turns the hips and fans the changeup 2-1. Got a tight one. Haven't really seen a whole lot of this over the last 3 days. And there's a drive into left field. And here comes Lesko, sliding down to make the catch. What a great play by Ryan Lesko. Came on late. Actually, no, he was unable to hang on.
Yeah, it was Leary. It dropped out of his glove at the last second. I mean, it was last go. They're showing Leary on the screen, but it dropped out of his glove at the last second.
You get a better look at it right here. And yep, it fell right in front of him. I was also watching Ragsdale at first. He was tipping his cap, and then he realized, nope, I'm still in there. I'm good.
And that is Leary. They've moved the outfielders around.
Good catch by you, pal. So Cameron Leary is in left field. There's Cam.
I'm not sure where he is in the lineup, but we'll figure that out later.
Either way, you give Josiah Ragsdale a base hit the other way. Brady Ebel backs off the plate. It's 1-1. Ebel flat out to center field to end the 6th inning. And he represents the go-ahead run with 1 out in the 8th.
And you wonder with the way they've run today, and we know Ragsdale has speed, could he be on the move?
Echeverria showing really strong secondary pitches. We've seen the cutter doing some work. That changeup looks like it's coming in with the same arm action as his fastball.
I think his first pitch to Ebel looked like a curveball. It was an 81-mile-an-hour breaking ball.
There's the fastball, but Ebel was on it, sticking around at 1-2. 98.
I think that's his best bolt so far today.
By far. We know that Josiah Ragsdale can cover ground in the outfield. Let's see how active he is on the bases. Taking a rather standard lead, now widening a bit at first. Dylan Feen holding him on. You see that right leg jelly legging a bit. And it's slashed fair inside the third base bag and down the line by Ebel. Let's see if Ragsdale's going to get the green light. They stop him, but he runs through it anyway. And that's the right decision because he scores the tying run.
Josiah Ragsdale knows his own speed there. It helped they didn't hit the cutoff man trying to dig it out in the corner. But he didn't hesitate. He knew he was coming home on that.
Brady Ebel ties it with a double down the line. Josiah Ragsdale running like he's in the Kentucky Derby all the way through the stop sign. An easy score coming around from first to make it 7-7.
Yeah, that was an effective cue shot by Brady Ebel down the line, and don't need to steal second base when we can score from first base on it.
He knew what he was doing all along. Luis Pena goes after that slider, strike one. One of the few remaining starters in this game. The other one's on deck. That's Andrew Fisher. Otherwise, 7 of the 9 have been swapped out for the Brewers. Pena 1 for 4 with an RBI single back in the first. Ground ball off the end of the bat to short. And the throw to first is dug out by Feen. So the shortstops have had their issues today. And I believe that's still Leo DeVries out there.
It's a nice call by the A's. They left. They have a very deep bench, like we mentioned. They brought 17 position players to this game. The one guy gets to play the whole game. Just happens to be the number 4 prospect in this one.
Jim, I got to tell you, I think I just goofed up my game day over here. I hit something that that zoomed everything in. Oh, that's much better. Okay, I got to figure it out. On the play, Ebel down to third. And here's Andrew Fisher, amazingly 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Out in front of one, trying to give the Brewers the lead late in this game.
He's just happy he's not seeing Cade Morris's curveball. They got him twice.
So Andrew Fisher has been one of the talks of camp for the Brewers with that Jersey attitude, the big eye black just smeared across his face.
Hit that ball 112 miles an hour, but did not keep it in the field of play. Well, it wasn't going to stay in the field of play. He didn't keep it fair. It was going to leave for a home run if he was able to keep it inside the foul pole.
He just got 98 with some giddy up from Echeverria trying to strand the go-ahead run at third. That's up high, 1-2.
99. So yeah, if you're going to hit my cutter like that, have 98, 99. Let's see you pull that.
The man who got the Brewers back in this game, Eric Batanti, standing on deck at that massive solo shot to right center. Another high fastball to Fisher. I think Josiah Ragsdale, when all's said and done, I don't know how many steals he's going to have this year for the Brewers, but he could be the fastest runner in minor league baseball when all's said and done. That sprint speed from first to home was something. 2-2. And a good AB by Fisher, coming back from 0-2 down.
So what do you throw him here, 3-2?
I mean, you're a competitor. You're seeing a guy that is making a lot of headlines. You give him your best pitch. You give him that 98 again. We try and move it a little bit. Full windup, here it comes. And it's ripped into right field. Andrew Fisher delivers the lead for the Brewers. His strong spring continues with a 2-out go-ahead double.
Well, he got the fastball. It was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, but he turned on it. We were just saying, can he turn on the fastball after he smoked the cutter? 111 miles an hour. Ropes that down the right field line. And all of a sudden, we're tied. And you have Eric Batanti. He's probably ticked off. They only called his home run 420 feet the last time up. He's coming to the plate now.
Don't know if they've signaled out to the bullpen yet. There is a righty playing catch for the A's. Kenya Huggins is getting loose, but I think this is just a chat to settle down Steven Echeverria, who's given up 3 runs in this 8th inning and allowed the Brewers to come back after they were down 7-4. Brady Ebel had the little inside-out swing down the line, but everything else has been squared up. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Brewers reserves. And it's Batanti who got the comeback started with a solo shot in the 7th. That made it 7-5. And there's Fisher after the go-ahead double, erasing an 0-for-4 to start his day. Echeverria after the mound visit, pitch number 25 is down low.
Okay.
We said it, Jim. This game's had it all. It's a tight one, getting late in Mesa.
We are going to get at least one more Leo DeVries at bat, so you're down by 1. Leo DeVries is coming up. You feel good about that.
And you figure that Fisher and DeVries were 2 of the biggest names coming into this game. Fisher started 0-for-4 before that go-ahead double, and DeVries right now 0-for-4, so maybe he can make his mark. Batanti's worked the count in his favor, 2-0. First base open. And Echeverria checking on Fisher at second.
Yeah, the pitch clock was running out on him. He's down to 1 second, so he stepped off.
I finally just noticed the pitch clock in center. Missed the target, not by much, 3-0. I think now I'm just so used to it that I don't even think about it anymore. I don't look for it.
They're not very obtrusive.
Remember when it was introduced and so many people were up in arms? How do you feel about that now? 3-0, Green lit him and fouled off by Batanti.
We had it for years in the fall league, like going back 3-4 years before it was Major League Baseball. And the thing I always thought about it, it's not making up, it's enforcing a rule that's in the books.
Correct.
So that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that. You aren't changing the game. I mean, guys are messing with their batting gloves and pitchers are taking forever, but the rule says 20 seconds. Let's get the pitch in. And you know, I think people got used to it very quickly.
We saw the fastball to Fisher that was grooved at 98. That one was 96, and Batanti was hunting it. Count goes to 3-2. With handle-free Encarnacion waiting for a chance on deck. Echeverria trying to send this one to the home half. And it's popped up off third. Bozer giving it a look, approaching the dugout. And it's off the top and back into the seats.
That's 6 straight fastballs he's thrown in this at-bat. And Batanti, I mean, you could look at him. We saw it earlier. I mean, he's a big guy. There's huge power, but there's also swing and miss. I just wonder if you throw him a good slider here. If you get him, I don't even know you have to throw it to be a strike. You see fastball, 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 fastball. You sped up his bat. You throw him a slider. Maybe you get him to chase it for strike 3.
And we talked about him in Friday's game. 35 homers the last 2 years, but also led the organization by a wide margin in strikeouts. And there's the slider. Really not much he could do with it. He steps in the bucket, and Echeverria freezes him to retire the side. 2 strikeouts in the inning, but the Brewers come back to take the lead, getting 3 runs. It started with the Miller solo shot. Brady Ebel, the game-tying double, and then Andrew Fisher with the go-ahead blow. We're going bottom 8 in a brand new game. The Brewers went into the 7th inning trailing 7-4, but they have come back after a 3-run top of the 8th. And it's been the bullpen that's been the story for the Brew Crew. Ethan Dorches and Wandy Torres combining on 4 hitless innings. Again, the A's have not had any offense since the 2-run homer from Cole Kaan, which came back in the 3rd. So the new pitcher, left-hander Mark Manfredi, starts his day. Ball, or beg your pardon, strike 1 on the catcher who's up for the first time, Davis Diaz. So Cole Kaan in the 9 spot got the start, walked twice, hit that 2-run homer. And now it's Diaz with the top of the order looming on deck.
Manfredi, 9th round pick out of Dayton 2023. Sits right around 94 like we've seen with the first 2 pitches. Also has a slider and a changeup. Kind of average stuff across the board, which still seems crazy to me to say things like he's sitting 94 and it's an average fastball, but that's the world we live in today. 94 is average velocity.
So his first pitch missed, so it's 3-0 on Diaz. And now he brings a strike across. Just kind of easing that slider into the zone at 85. Cameron Leary waiting for his first at-bat on deck. A 1-run game as we begin the bottom of the 8th. Final day of the spring breakout, the only game in the spring breakout. And we've got a saw job over shortstop and a leadoff base hit for Diaz. That's some odd contact coming off his wood. But the leadoff man's aboard and the tying runs on base for the top of the order.
He's laughing about it. He'll take it. The box score in the spring breakout box score. That's a solid save.
A jam shot. But the number 9 spot for the A's has been perfect. 2 hits, 2 walks. And it's Cameron Leary batting from the left side, wearing the old school stirrups. Good look, slashing one. Wide of third for strike 1.
And the A's, I mean, Cameron Leary, this is his first at bat, but the A's have got 7 runs. The top 3 spots in their lineup are 1 for 12 to this point.
That's a great point. Talked about DeVries 0 for 4, Tommy White's 0 for 4. The only one was the Bolte infield single, which brought in a run in the 2nd. Strike 1 delivery from Manfredi. And it's a broken bat roller fair. He didn't realize it. And now the third baseman sends it across. Fisher on the money with the throw. And had Leary realized the situation, he probably beats that out for an infield single.
I agree with you. I think he does beat that out. It's just unfortunate. Let's see the replay here.
Shortstop number 14, Leo.
Well, there's just that slight hesitation coming out of the box. Close play at first. Good job by Fisher. Maybe the helmet getting jarred loose the entire way wasn't helping either. Tying run in scoring position, and as Jim mentioned and promised, at least one more at bat from Leo DeVries. He's trying to make up for an 0 for 4.
Interesting, he starts him off with the changeup. Didn't challenge him right away with the fastball.
Good spot to even the count. Dylan Feen is out on deck for Tommy White. And Freddie checking the runner at second. That's Diaz. That's scorched foul by DeVries, 1-2. Talked about Mark Manfredi in Double-A last year, 3.30 ERA over 44 appearances. DeVries needs a new bat, so that's something that Manfredi's showing. He's showing the ability to break bats.
Yep.
60 innings in Double-A last year, 38 hits, 2 home runs allowed. What killed him were 38 walks. This is a guy that came out of the University of Dayton, a 9th round pick in 2023. He was a 2-year starter for the Flyers. He's now working in the 8th inning of this final spring breakout game, trying to give the Brewers a perfect 2-0 weekend. Facing one of the best in baseball, MLB's number 4 prospect, Leo DeVries. Takes ball 2.
He's pitching him very carefully, which is not a real surprise.
With first base open especially. Just cannot give this guy anything to hit right now. As he's waiting for his moment. And he's out in front again, fouling it off his front foot. Now, Leo DeVries last year got a call up for 5 AA playoff games. And I would say that he did okay, Jim, because he was 8 for 19 with 3 home runs.
That works.
So he talked about the Brewers AAA team, or beg your pardon, the A's AAA team winning the Pacific Coast League Championship for the first time since 1988. Their AA team in the Texas League got in by winning a first half tiebreaker. And a bluff to second for Manfredi. The Midland Rockhounds at one point were one of the best minor league teams in baseball. They had a true dynasty. They won 4 straight Texas League titles from 2014 to 2017. And DeVries lays off 3-2. You just don't see that ever.
No, because it's not like at the big league level where you're keeping the same players.
There's no continuity.
You know, especially if the team's successful, you theoretically have a bunch of players moving on. But yeah, to win 4 titles in a row is pretty impressive.
Payoff pitch. Missed inside, and DeVries takes his walk. No challenge. And the tying and go-ahead runs are on base for Dylan Feen.
It'll be his first at-bat of the day. He was a 7th-round pick out of high school in 2024. Last year, his brother Gavin was the 12th overall pick in the draft by the Rangers.
I remember seeing Gavin.
And he was coveted by the Red Sox, who picked 15th. The new Red Sox regime, or the new Nationals regime, is a bunch of former Red Sox guys led by Paul Taboni. They trade Mackenzie Gore, they get Gavin Fee.
Forming the youngest duo running baseball ops in the game.
Yep.
And Taboni and his new manager, Blake Butera. Both of them younger than me. Tells you all you need to know. Strike 1 pitch. Line to short and up over the reach of Ebel. That gets into center. Now Diaz had to hold, so he stops at third with the tying run. But Dylan Feen loads the bases with a base hit. And it brings up the cleanup man, Nate Nankill.
That's a couple balls we've seen that Brady Ebel has just not been quite tall enough to get to. And that was good. I mean, Davis Diaz did what he had to do in that situation when you run the bases. If that gets caught, you get doubled up, innings over, so you have to wait and see. He did the right thing. And Brady Ebel's 6'3", so it's not like he's short. They've hit a couple balls just out of his reach.
This is Nankill's first plate appearance. Taking over for Junior Perez in right field. So it's Diaz at third, DeVries at second, Feen at first. And Manfredi in trouble looking for a ground ball. Instead, a shallow fly into center ties the game. Station is station. And it's a tie ball game on the jam shot from Nate Nankill.
That was a good pitch. He did what it was intended to do, but he got enough of it just to kind of loop it into center field there. It was non-stop action in this one today.
So just like we saw with the Brewers, the A's second stringers are coming in and making it happen. 4 of the first 5 have reached against Mark Manfredi. And suddenly the A's getting their bullpen hot. Su Chen Shah is warming up for what could be a save situation now in the 9th. It started with the number 9 hitter, Davis Diaz, getting on with a leadoff single. After that, DeVries walked. And Feen and Nankill with back-to-back base hits. Nankill's driving in the tying run. A chance for Ryan Lasko to bring the lead back for the A's with the bases loaded. Big swing on that high fastball. That's about as hard as he'll get right now from Manfredi at 96. Outfield pretty deep. Encarnacion in left, Ragsdale in center, Anderson in right. Fly ball should give the A's the lead. Lasko a strikeout victim when he came up for the first time in the 7th. So this game has been wild except for the middle innings. start and finish have been unpredictable. And it's hammered foul at the plate, 1-2.
I feel like we're not finished yet, just the way this game's going. I think we're going to have a eventful ninth inning as well.
And if you're looking ahead to that top of the ninth for the Brewers, it would be Encarnacion, Ortuño, and Miller, with all of these starters out of the game. And Freddie needing a second out, 1-2, and he gets it. Speeds one by Lasco, who's down on strikes for the second time. You would hate to see this opportunity go by the wayside. Again, I go back to the ground ball off the bat of Cameron Leary, which rolled to third, and he seemingly wasn't aware that it was a live baseball, so it took him a while to get out of the box. And Andrew Fisher was able to throw him out. If that play doesn't happen, we could be looking at a totally different bottom of the eighth for the A's. Now Bobby Bozer with a chance to make his mark. And instead, it's a wild pitch. It gets away, and the A's take the lead back.
Leo DeVries in there with the go-ahead run.
Not much Darian Miller could do coming out of his crouch. Man, Freddie unhurls a wild one. Although, looking at it on a second glance, that might be on Miller. Either way, the go-ahead run scores. Now second and third with 2 outs. Bozer, who walked his first time, stares at strike one. He is the 7th batter of this 8th inning. And after the Brewers came back from 7-4 down, the A's scratch across 2 to retake the lead. And it ends up being a pass ball on the catcher Miller.
In the top of the inning, he hit the home run to get the Brewers within 1 before they took the lead.
Now the A's are saying, listen, you guys wanted to save us, best for last. We're going to give you a game that you're going to remember for a long time. The Brewers lucky to get both of these games of the spring breakout on MLB Network. And for those of you watching back home, we appreciate you. Fouled off 1-2. Freddie right now with 25 pitches. The A's back on top late in this game. And as I said before, the save situation awaits Zhu Chen Sha, a 21-year-old from Taiwan. And Freddie gets the sign from Miller. And the 2-2 pitch, he gets him. High heat, snuck up on him. Might have been the slider on second glance. Back-to-back strikeouts close it out for Manfredi, but he gives up the lead. The A's get 2 across, and it's 9-8 going to the 9th. I thought that the A's would go with right-hander Zhu Chen Sha to come in for a possible save in the 9th. Now, they still could go that route, but for now, Steven Echeverria, after facing 7 batters in the 8th inning, is still in the ball game, and now he inherits a chance to win this thing. After the A's came back with 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th to go up 9-8.
I kind of like that move, to be honest with you. I mean, like, whether you win or lose, this game isn't the end of the world. This is a guy you're hoping is going to be one of your better pitching prospects. So you show some confidence in him. Hey, we trust you to keep this 1-run lead, even though you struggled last inning. And he comes right out and throws strike 1.
It's handle-free Encarnacion, who walked his first time up in the 7th. Trying to put the tying run on base for the Brewers, and instead he grounds it softly to first. Fiend takes it himself for out number 1. Great to hear from some old friends. Jesse Goldberg Strassler, longtime voice of the Lansing Lugnuts, sending a nice message to us, Jim. He's watching the game back home and getting ready for another minor league season. And he said, if you want to pronounce Steven Echeverria as New Jersey as you want, go right ahead. Because Steven from Livingston, New York, now makes his home in Scottsdale, but still has the roots back home.
It's a party at his place tonight, right? If they win, party at Echeverria's place.
The way that you've been able to wrangle guests for us, I think you could get us in just about anywhere in Scottsdale.
We'll see.
Here's Juan Ortuño, who grounded out to end the 7th. Ground ball to short, diving stop. DeVries recovers, fires. He got him. What a play by Leo DeVries.
That's what I was saying. I mean, we haven't seen him do a lot offensively today, although he did score the go-ahead run after walking, but 0 for 4. But he's not just a potential 30-30 guy at the plate. That's not what makes him such a great prospect. I mean, that was a difficult play that, you know, we've seen it today where the Brewers making errors. That could have been you panic, you pick it up, you throw it by, and then the tying run is in scoring position. What a play by Leo DeVries.
0 for 4 with a walk, but remember, he scored the go-ahead in what is right now the winning run. 2 quick outs for Steven Echeverria. It's Darian Miller, the last chance, who took him deep his last time.
89 miles an hour on that throw, which is upper echelon.
And now Miller flies it high in the air to right center. This should do it. Lasco's there. Ball game. A's take it down to close out the spring breakout. What a game, Jim Callis.
We had 2 great games. A lot of action. We had the Brewers. I mean, baseball's best farm system, so maybe that's why. But A's coming back from an early deficit, then a late deficit, rallying, lots of home runs, triples, steals, ball carrying. A lot of fun.
I'll tell you what, Leo DeVries' day is a reminder to all the baseball players out there that you may not do much at the plate early, but you can make an impact late. And in his case, he scores the winning run in the 8th and makes a beautiful defensive stop to help out his pitcher, Steven Echeverria, who ends up earning the win with a 1-2-3 ninth. The A's clip the Brewers 8-7, and that does it for Spring Breakout 2026. For our entire crew, led by Ryan McGahey and Jess Eichhorst, and our crew up here in the booth, Jim Callis from MLB Pipeline, Jesse Borek, who was with me for 2 of these games. I'm Greg Caserta saying bye for now. Have a great rest of your weekend, and enjoy the minor league season wherever you are. The Spring Breakout comes to an end. We'll see you next year.